are available at Walgreens and participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
I think he's going to coach him up by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
And welcome into the Thursday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Thursday morning. Hope everybody is having a beautiful start to this Thursday morning. It's going to be like 75 degrees today, which in November, Joe, I will take. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, I would definitely be hooping today except for this atrocity on my hand.
It's a tough one.
But that's exciting. We should all take advantage of it any way you can.
I agree. Nick Keyser, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing swell. Can't complain about it being nice outside later.
Swell, he says.
Swell is a great word.
It is.
That
Underused.
is a great boomer. That's like greatest generation word.
It is.
It's like boomer's parents' word.
Yeah, funny enough, I heard that from my dad yesterday.
Did you?
I did.
That's swell.
That is swell. It's good. You know what else is swell? A nice Thursday night football game tonight.
Yeah.
The Ravens and the Bengals. Now that I'm here for. Last week we were all subjected to, I shouldn't say all because I chose not to watch, but most of us were subjected to the Panthers and the Bears, which just screams Thursday night football. But this one is good. The Ravens, the Bengals. Ravens coming off a disappointing loss, as are the Bengals, who really need this one tonight. I'm looking forward to a little Thursday night football tonight.
Yeah,
a good one to watch.
It's very excited for this one. It's a good week in general because the Sunday night game is Chiefs-Eagles, right?
Yeah, is that Sunday or Monday? One of the two. I think it's
maybe that is the Monday. So maybe I thought I looked and all the prime times were all like Chiefs-Eagles is one of the prime times, and the other one I thought was pretty good too. But I don't remember what it is.
Vikings-Broncos is Sunday night.
Okay, that's
which
Sunday.
Is not
which
terrible.
has actually become interesting because the Broncos have become competent.
And then Monday Night Football, the Eagles and the Chiefs, and that kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. So, although, as everybody should know, next week, that's great. But remember, it's a college basketball week primarily. That's the main thing that Thanksgiving week is.
Is that the main thing that Thanksgiving week is?
Tuesday, I'm expecting Vols-Purdue in an absolute banger, and then maybe Vols-Kansas in the Maui final. So
you couldn't swing getting down to Maui?
I know.
You couldn't wrestle with the bigwigs to get you down there?
I mean, the thing is, it's like I should have asked. I mean, our guy James Boyd was just in Frankfurt with the Colts. I'm like, the Colts stink. He went to Frankfurt to cover the Colts. I should have asked. I've covered Maui twice, and if I could cover it every year, that just be my job, I would absolutely sign up for that.
You'd never go back. You'd never return.
No, actually, I may have said this before on the show, and I apologize if I have, but like one time I was out there for Maui, and I was like, I think that was the time Katie was there. My brother got married, so like we scheduled it all around it.
Okay.
But I was like, Katie, like let's just get bartending jobs and just never go back.
Let's just stay.
Let's just stay, please. Obviously, Maui, awful fires and everything there. So I think Maui. I think it's in Honolulu this year, but a lot of things to benefit Maui, and man, it's an amazing place. I'll tell you that. And it will be an amazing tournament this year, and it's the best thing in sports next week.
We have our best thing in sports coming up at 6:45 today, so that's good.
Yeah,
is that a preemptive look? We got something else.
Well, the thing is, we won't be on the air next Thursday because it's Thanksgiving.
That is true.
So, I mean, I guess I'm giving you a preview. Best thing in sports is coming up. It's the basketball.
There you go. Joe, we didn't have a ton of time to discuss this yesterday because Kuharski was bloviating over here.
Yeah, and you were agreeing with him.
I know. It was
ridiculous.
Awesome. It really made you mad. The long fuse on full display yesterday from Joe Rexrode.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Watson now out for the year for Cleveland. What do you think that does to the playoff race? And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan today, beyond all the off-the-field stuff that we talked about in great detail with Deshaun Watson and everything that happened there, how are we feeling today about that contract with Deshaun Watson based on his availability to this point and the way that he's played?
Yeah, not great. Now, it's supposed to be full recovery, be back, all that stuff. Second year. There's time. There's time for it to work out. They have, as we can see, a very good team.
They do.
You know, I will say that it's kind of a double. It's like however you want to look at things. On the one hand, he finally had an amazing half of football. I mean, because even like he made a few plays against the Titans in that game, but it was still not what he got paid to do. I mean, it still
threw the
was
ball
like,
backwards one play too.
He
It's
did.
amazing.
But like he actually was like had a perfect QB rating, didn't have an incompletion, making huge plays with his feet, all that stuff in the comeback against the Ravens. So on the one hand, it's like at least you saw that before he went down, but also it's like, oh, so finally he starts to play well. If you're a Browns fan, you're probably like that, right? Like, oh, great. So he actually finally starts to look like the quarterback we thought he'd be, and now this. So tough scene for the Browns fans.
I mean, I do think, Karski was talking about this yesterday. Their defense is good enough to kind of keep them in it here in terms of a playoff race, but they're not doing anything of consequence with P.J. Walker as their quarterback, are they?
Or the young kid from UCLA whose name is
escaping me too.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. And that's the crazy thing. They lost Chubb too. I mean, this team put Deshaun Watson in that form and Nick Chubb on the field with that defense. You might have something. So. But I do think the defense is good enough and they can cobble together enough offense to still be in the playoff race. But, if that's your ceiling, that's that. I mean, you can say that of most AFC teams at least. Not this one, but most.
Yes, most for sure. On the Titans front, taking on Jacksonville coming up on Sunday, we'll have Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports joining us from 8 to 8:30 today for his weekly visit. Traylon Burks not practicing yesterday for the Titans with the concussion. Andre Dillard also in concussion protocol, not practicing. And it sounds like Dylan Radins was getting the work at left tackle. You could see Jalen Duncan getting some work there this week as well as they prepare for Jacksonville. It feels to me, Joe, that if they're not going to try Skoronski out this week at left tackle, that it's probably just not going to happen at this point. And I guess we need to punt on the Skoronski anywhere other than left guard talk from the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I suppose you could have more injuries or you could have really bad performance and get to the point of desperation. But, yeah, you're pretty close there. Obviously, Jalen Duncan is Jalen Duncan is left tackle 2 right now, and I would say with potentially a chance to get a look if Dylan Radins struggles. Dylan Radins did talk yesterday in the locker room about, and it's fair to point this out, he had 0 reps. On the left side, he was all right side, all right guard, had to get thrown in the game. So there's a little bit of an adjustment. Of course, he has also said in the past that he's already naturally more comfortable on the left side. But this week, he gets all the reps. He's going to be the starting left tackle. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. I think we have a fair idea of how that might go.
The funny thing about Dylan Radins is this last time out, and again, it's especially about 3 or 4 snaps where it's like, what happened there? Like Karski was talking about yesterday with his hands.
Yep.
But the probably at least the 2 or 3 times out before that at different spots, he actually was okay.
Yeah, it looked okay.
So, it's not like, he's not condemned to be just horrific in this game. But
I don't have high hopes.
Great. Yeah, I mean, the hope should be certainly limited. I mean, the hope should just be, provide some resistance to pass rush, help that side. And what you need Chris Hubbard to play better than he did last game.
Correct.
Because Chris Hubbard had some better games earlier in the year before he got hurt. And it's like, oh, my gosh, they lost Chris Hubbard. What a big loss. And he comes back and he struggles. You need it. Again, you need both. You can't have both tackles desperately needing help all game.
Yeah. I was hoping that Burks would be back on the field yesterday and starting to come out of concussion protocol, and it does not appear to be the case right now. So that's not good.
You can pretty much count him out. based on the way Vrabel answered that yesterday, I'd say you could count out Traylon Burks, and I think Andre Dillard again. Andre Dillard, I don't think would be playing anyway if they can help it. But no Burks still. I guess basically early in the stages, you can be in protocol and practice, which is an indication that there's progress, and he's not there. So, as you know, that being on a Wednesday, I would expect him to not play. So they're going to have to, figure it out with Hopkins and friends.
Other news on the injury report, Daniel Brunskill limited with the ankle, Anthony Kendall limited with the hamstring, Sean Murphy-Bunting limited at practice with the thumb injury. Garrett, Gibbons, Gifford, all full participants, as was Ryan Tannehill. So Ryan Tannehill, full participant out there with the ankle injury, and Will Levis with the foot, a full participant as well. So,
but he's on the injury report.
He's on the injury report. It didn't take very long for him to get on the injury report. It's good news that he's, apparently doesn't look like it's that big a deal, but he's on there, and it took 3 weeks as a starting quarterback with that offensive line in front of him.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, not good. I thought what was good, I thought Levis had some good, commentary on sort of how to handle this. There's a whole bunch of talk this week, as you might expect, about protection, lack of protection, what it means, ruining a quarterback, how does he handle it? And, I think he's got a good perspective on it, and I think he's handling it well in terms of he's taking the hits.
You ready for a little trash talk on the text line?
Okay.
Will on the text line says, imagining Joe hooping is like imagining yourself as a superhero, a fantasy. This is from Will on the text line. What do you think of that?
Anytime, anywhere, Will. Anytime, anywhere. Come on out. I hoop with like athletic 25-year-olds and hold my own, Chief. Come on out whenever you want. Whatever court you want, I'll take you on. Let's go one-on-one.
I have witnessed Rexrode hoop. He's pretty good.
And I wasn't even that good that day. I'm hitting threes, and my son's talking trash like he normally doesn't hit that shot. But what happened to Brennan? He sat down when he lost. Don't get me started,
bringing
Will.
the smoke on the text line. We're off and running on Robby and Rexrode, taking your thoughts all show long. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Some perspective needed today here on the program, and Joe Rexrode is set to provide it. Coming up next, you're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
When you want all the...
Going in and the score. Blast the score. He wrists one, they score.
And don't forget the...
Oh, what a stop. Sliding across to make the save. The backhander, nice stop.
When all you want is... Smashville. We have you covered. Hear every Predators game. Right here. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
It's back. Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Okay, so what's that mean?
That means huge discounts, up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Like what?
Up to 50% off on slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy Billiards. Prices start as low as $14.99 installed, plus the matching bars and game tables. Even poker tables to complete our game room are on sale as well. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Wow, perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure is also featuring huge savings on massage chairs and home theater seating. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. And the top-of-the-line 40 massage chair is more than half off at $29.99.
What about the theater seating?
Family Leisure guarantees to be half off anyone's home theater seating. 3-piece recliner sets start at only $9.99. Full power recline real leather seats are only $19.99.
That's great! And they have stand-up and desktop arcade games with over 600 games, shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables.
It really is the Ultimate Game Room Sale.
The Ultimate Game Room Sale going on now at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
30 Seconds to Mars presents Seasons, the World Tour. Live in Nashville, featuring AFI. With special guests, Poppy and Kenny Hoopla. Ascend Amphitheater, Saturday, August 3rd. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The brand new album, It's the End of the World, But It's a Beautiful Day, is available everywhere now. Part of the Journeys concert series.
Score all the action this football season with great deals from Vivid Seats. From college games to NFL, there's nothing like seeing every block, blitz, and big play of your favorite team live. Vivid Seats celebrates fandom with unbeatable rewards like free tickets, surprise seat upgrades, and annual birthday deals. With Vivid Seats rewards, you earn rewards with every purchase. From first down to final whistle, Vivid Seats has a great selection for all the 2023 games that matter to you. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station.
Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper.
We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
No, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Don't miss Provember at Lowe's. Save $80 on a DeWalt combo kit and save $20 on a 5-gallon pail of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams All-Purpose Power Primer. Plus, MVP's members earn 3 times the bonus points on DeWalt and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams products. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
We want to hear from you. Call or text us at 615-737-1025.
Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Thursday morning. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Joe, 1 year ago, the Tennessee Vols were coming off a thrashing 66-24 of the Missouri Tigers at home. I was at that game. I was in the stadium watching Joe Milton late in the fourth quarter sailing passes to Squirrel White down the field as Eli Drinkwitz looked on in sheer terror.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, nice footage of his mic'd up encounter with Josh Heupel coming out yesterday. That was interesting.
Yeah, you need to explain that to me, but yeah, we can get to that.
We'll get to that at some point. Vanderbilt, last weekend, was coming off a nice win on the road at Kentucky. They took down Will Levis and the Wildcats. Clark Lee emotional in the post-game interview. They finally got their first SEC win. They would follow it up the next week with a win at home against Florida, 2 SEC wins in a row, some positive momentum from the doors. And a year ago tomorrow, Joe Rexrode, the Tennessee Titans went on the road on Thursday Night Football to take on the Green Bay Packers. They win 27-17. The offense looks the best it's looked all year long, and the Titans win and improve to 7-3. And it feels like the AFC South title for a third year in a row is all but wrapped up. The playoffs are all but guaranteed. And we all know what happened after that. The Titans completely spiraled out of control. They lost 7 games in a row. Right now, they're the second worst team in the AFC. Vanderbilt has lost 9 in a row, well on their way to 10 to close out the season at the end of the year. Tennessee is not bad, but nowhere near what they were last year in terms of the quality of team and certainly the quality of offense. So you're going from a year ago where you felt about as good as you could feel around here football-wise, just based on the positive momentum, and now you look around and you're like, geez, is anything going to go right for any of these teams anytime soon? Tennessee's got Georgia coming up on Saturday. Vanderbilt has the week off, but they're staring 2-10 in the face, and the Titans are 3-6 with a rookie quarterback, and only the New England Patriots are worse than they are in the AFC right now. It's pretty incredible how things have changed in a year.
It is. So the day of November 19th in particular, that day, the early game, Vanderbilt beats Florida. So that means Will Levis, then Anthony Richardson, back-to-back wins after they had lost 26 in a row. Here's a quote, because I wrote about this in The Athletic, and here's a quote from Clark Lee that I found, that he said at his press conference after the game. He said, "I can't say enough." Quote, "I can't say enough about this being a new era in Vanderbilt football. This being a point that we'll look back on and see where the shift happened." End quote. So that day, the Titans had just beat Green Bay. That was 2 days earlier. So Thursday they beat Green Bay. That day, the 19th, Vanderbilt beats Florida, and they're probably gathering to watch on television. So they've got Tennessee with a chance to get to a bowl game coming in the next week. And that night they get to watch Tennessee, which is 9-1, which is number 5, which still a very good chance of getting into the college football playoff at that point, given all the, given the entire scene going to South Carolina.
Yep.
So basically starting with that night, it's just amazing. Of course, the Titans didn't win again. 56, it's like some is good and bad if you want to look at this, but like Tennessee, good for them beating Vanderbilt 56-0. Bad for Vanderbilt for not even being competitive, and it's just been bad since then. They were 21-10 at that point. Okay, so I look back at basically since the Titans have been in Tennessee, which I even went back to 97. Obviously, if you combine the Vols and Titans, there's nothing better than like 98. The Titans were still average, but like that frame, that's pretty good. 98, you got a national championship. 99, you got a Titans in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
But the three of them combined, because really Vanderbilt's only really good stretch was the James Franklin era, which was bad for Tennessee and actually a bad time for the Titans.
Yep.
This is the best those three have been at one point since the Titans have been here. 21-10, but Vanderbilt's like, yes, got our guy. Look at these wins in the SEC. Vols got our guy.
Yep.
Go, national championship team, and then the Titans. Oh yeah, third straight AFC title in the bag. So they've been 14-27 combined since then. And again, Tennessee, the Vols are the only like remotely positive thing.
Right.
Pretty amazing.
It is.
What a terrible year.
It's been a calendar year now of football that has been bad. I mean, Tennessee during that time has lost, if you count the South Carolina game, which is the 19th, we're coming up on the anniversary of that. If you count that game, Tennessee has lost 4 times since then. So it's still been largely pretty good for them. But Vanderbilt and the Titans, it's been a rough go of things for
in
the
this
last
particular city.
year. Yes.
It's been the local professional football team, the local professional or the local SEC football team.
Correct.
Very bad. So yeah. So where does it go from here? I guess it's kind of the same thing. Tennessee still like the best performance and brightest outlook. The good thing is for 2 of the 3, I mean there is hope because of Will Levis here,
yep.
right? So if they got that right, they're going to be fine. With the Vols, I mean, to me, we'll see if they can beat Georgia. We'll see if the Titans can beat the Jags. Maybe this is the weekend that it flips
back around.
Maybe it is. I mean, if the Jags can come back, the Jags were 3-7 on Thanksgiving last year. Titans were 7-3.
Yep.
4-game lead Thanksgiving. So anything's possible, but at least there's hope, and I think for both at the quarterback position, right?
Yes. Vanderbilt.
I don't know what
quarterback situation. Like if you're AJ Swan, and I realize he's been hurt, but if you're AJ Swan this year, based on the way things have gone down, how are we feeling about your future at Vanderbilt right now? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just saying, like, he's been hurt. There's also been, I think he probably could play right now, and he's not playing. So how does that go over with AJ Swan?
Yeah.
Because I still think he is the one that has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, I think, he's I would agree with that. Now, I will say I think Walter Taylor has a high ceiling too. I just don't know, if are they going to go all the eggs in the basket that way? That's the thing. For the most part, at quarterback, you got to put your eggs in a basket. Tennessee and Vanderbilt have actually both been lucky in that, like, Seal stayed and Milton stayed.
Yep.
Less and less can you count on that. So they've got a big decision to make with that for sure after they complete the 2-10 season.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Jaden. Jaden, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Good morning, gentlemen. So I know Tennessee is coming off a hard week at Missouri, and I feel as if they have something to prove. And I know tomorrow is Fireball Hot Take Friday on Jared's show, but I'm going to go ahead and give my hot take prediction. And I might be completely wrong, but I feel a Tennessee win over Georgia on Saturday. I mean, you got to think they're in Neyland. Hopefully will, but be on upset watch on Saturday in Neyland and Knoxville. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Jaden. So add Jaden to the list. Chase, Big Joe, calling for a Tennessee upset over Georgia. And now Jaden as well.
I thought you were saying add him to the list. Stop bringing up Jared's show.
Well, we can do that,
You're
too.
on the naughty list. I will say I was talking to David Ubben yesterday because I'm going to see Ubben Saturday in Knoxville, and I don't know that he's necessarily calling that, but he's like, I think it's going to be a way more interesting game than most people do. I'm like, okay, maybe. Yeah, I'm not completely out on that idea.
I'm not out on it. Like, if Tennessee beat Georgia on Saturday, would it be the greatest upset I've ever seen? No. Now, having said that, go look at like some of these individual matchups. Very few of them favor Tennessee. It's going to be a very difficult task for Tennessee to pull this off. Even being at home, and what I still think, even at 7-3, is going to be a pretty good environment at Neyland Stadium. The matchups do not look very good for Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, I think the matchup that has to be an absolute win is the matchup. Pierce, Norman Lott, Thomas. Those guys have to be, because when those guys play at their highest level collectively, they can get after people, and especially in that place.
Let's go back to our 102.5 The Game phone line and welcome in Kenny the mailman. Kenny, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Good morning, good friends. How are y'all?
Good, Kenny. Great. How are you?
Excellent. Listen, I've been going to Vandy games for years and years. My wife nicknamed me Charlie Brown years ago because she said, what's going to happen. But, I enjoy going. I've got to see players like Herschel Walker and the Manning brothers and everything. So it's been fun to watch. But a lot of people don't realize the transfer portal has ended any chance whatsoever for Vanderbilt to even field a competitive team, because if you look at it, everybody knows this is true. You get mad when you say it, but they only get 6 or 7 SEC quality recruits each year out of all the recruit. You have to go through a year like you just went through just about every year. Then at the end of the year, the schools come back and say, we'll double your NIL, you'll play before a home crowd, you'll go to a bowl game. Why are you still there? And you have to scratch your head and say, why would they not transfer? So I think that not having to set out a year is just going to end any chance whatsoever to even build a team that can win 4 or 5 a year. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks for the call, Kenny. Appreciate it. That's an interesting point that he brings up. And, obviously the first thing you think of there is, Ray Davis plays great for Vanderbilt last year, and now he's running all over the place for Kentucky.
Yep. Yeah, it happens. Guys leave Georgia for Alabama too. But, yeah, I would agree. Basically – like you have to be in the NIL business. Now they got into it last year, and so A.J. Swan, C.J. Taylor, Will Shepard, those guys stayed. And those guys could have gone somewhere, but that's what you have to do, right? First of all, you have to recruit at a very high level out of high school. You have to hope that what you're selling as a program in terms of a full life preparation and the education, all that stuff, that resonates with enough talented guys who then you can keep. Not easy, but I wouldn't say it's a death knell.
Chuck on the text line says it's more likely that Georgia is going to do to Tennessee the same thing they did to TCU in the national championship game. I'd be surprised if it was 65-7.
Yeah, it won't be that. I would say that a Tennessee win would be less surprising than a 65-7 Tennessee loss.
I would say so.
Yes.
Now, if Georgia won by like 20, 25, 30, I don't know that I'd be surprised by that. But 65
to
7.
Even 30 would that would be disappointing.
They just lost by 30 to Missouri. But, yes, it would be very disappointing.
They did. But, yeah, in this stadium it is. It means more to me in the bottom line to them.
It just means more.
Well, yeah, that's right. It means a higher number to them than most teams home and road, I think. That means a lot in college football, but I think especially for this team, which is a problem moving forward on the road, but this week should be good.
So we've laid out the calendar year for the Vols, the Titans, and Vanderbilt, and how things have gone since this time last year. What do you make of that, and what do you make of the path forward for this team? We'll take your thoughts on all that. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. More up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025-1063, The Game.
Blue Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, it's Big Joe. Chip Walters and I will have the call this Saturday as MTSU wraps up their home schedule against UTEP. Our coverage begins at 12:30.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits.
It's the Electronic Express Black Friday Savings Marathon. Every Sunday means hot new deals. Get the gifts you want and save up to 50% throughout the entire store. Get a TCL 65-inch 4K TV now only $349, plus other hot deals. At Electronic Express, dream big, pay small with up to 36 months special financing on deals like a Frigidaire kitchen package only $15.99 or a Microsoft Surface Pro 9 now only $8.99. Shop the Black Friday Savings Marathon at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Get ready to elevate your game day experience. Titans fans, it's all happening at Mimo Bar on Titans Terrace. Just a short walk from the bridge at First and Demumbrian. They've got your epic pregame and postgame covered with their Italian classics and sensational cocktails. Your senses will be on a joyride. And hey, listen to this. Everyone at the Titans Terrace gets a chance to bag a Gibson Guitars merch bundle, a $100 Mimo postgame gift card, or a weekend brunch for two. So why wait? Mimo Bar, where Nashville's heritage meets Italian flavor.
Are you ready to get pumped up and show your support for the MTSU Blue Raiders this season? Get ready to experience the thrill of cheering them on inside the legendary Floyd Stadium. And the best part? Season tickets are available at an unbeatable starting price of just $99. Don't wait any longer. Head to goblueraiders.com/tickets to secure your spot and join us in cheering the Blue Raiders to victory. Let's go, Blue!
Get ready for the final race of the year at Duck River Raceway Park. Platinum Building Solutions presents the 35th running of the Gobbler, November 18th, featuring the Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series Super Late Models, battling it out for a thrilling $10,000 prize. Enjoy non-stop racing action with support classes like 602, Factory Stock, Open Wheel, Pure Pony, Dwarf, Front Wheel Drive, and $3,000 to win Enduro. Join us at Nashville's closest dirt track. Visit DuckRiverRacewayPark.com for details.
Oh my OAR.
That was a crazy game of poker. I see you in the back.
Live in concert.
I lost it all.
Summer Tour 24.
I want you, I want me, I want
September 1st at Ryman Auditorium. With special guests, Wright and DJ Logic. Tickets on sale Friday, 12 noon at Ryman.com. Don't miss OAR Live.
You already know Prize Picks is the most fun you'll have this football season. But now you can play during basketball season too. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on the projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Visit prizepicks.com/playnow and use code PLAYNOW. That's code PLAYNOW at prizepicks.com/playnow. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
You'll propose to her on that family trip in front of everyone. Brilliant.
I know.
The trip is only a month away.
But I don't have a ring.
Luckily, there's GageDiamonds.com with engagement rings in every style, certified natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and moissanites.
Can I finance it?
Gage lets you buy the ring today and pay for it over time with our no credit needed financing.
Brilliant.
GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement's middle name. 25% off site-wide with code BFCM from November 11th to 28th. Exclusions apply.
They're homegrown in Nashville, discussing the biggest topics in the SEC.
The fans are going to want the rivalries to stick around. They've lost to Alabama every year.
The NFL.
What if all the top 3 quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3? You've got to draft your guy at 2.
And anything in between.
From thinking we know everything to then forgetting about everything we thought we knew the day before.
They're Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow on Outkick's Hot Mic.
Out of the gates, ready to go.
Weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Make your silly underdog picks today for your chance to win weekly prizes. You can play at thegamenashville.com or the 102.5 The Game app as we approach Week 12 of college football, Week 11 of the NFL. Silly underdog picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. We'll have the best and worst things in sports coming up at 6:45. Predators assistant coach Derek McKenzie joining the show at 7:15. So Looking forward to all that. Right now, taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025. We've laid out the last calendar year for the Titans, the Vols, and Vanderbilt. On the Titans front, it is really amazing to me that a year ago tomorrow, they waltz in there to Green Bay. They win 27-17. Offense looks great. Todd Downing's best game called as an offensive coordinator for the Titans. Certainly last year as an offensive coordinator for the Titans. And they're 7-3. You look around the rest of the division, and Indy's in shambles. They've moved on from Matt Ryan, and they've switched quarterbacks, all those things. The Texans were terrible last year. Jacksonville ends up being 3-7, and you think, all right, well, how much rest could you give some of these guys the last part of the year? Can the Titans compete for the 1 seed again? And then it immediately turns around. That's the last game they win all year was in Green Bay. They've won 3 games since then and went from 7-3 on the season to 3-13 in their next 16 games. It really is. It's a wild swing when you really think about how quickly this has unraveled for the Titans in the last year. Just totally wild.
It is. And, some people would say, well, it's not fair to, look at 2 seasons when you're doing something like that. 2 different teams, I was asking around the Titans locker room yesterday about, kind of like trying to do to the Jags what the Jags did to them. And it's like, yeah, like last season doesn't mean anything. Okay, I get it. I get it. But that is how people look at it. I mean, your trends, it's just like if Vrabel, had won 5 in a row. Well, 5 in a row, I guess, going into the next season would mean he won the Super Bowl. But you know what I mean. 10 out of 11 games. We talk about that too, right?
Sure.
Over 2 seasons. But last year, a lot of it was absolutely accurate. Jeffrey Simmons is not himself. Danico Autry misses time. Ryan Tannehill's out, and your backup quarterback is Malik Willis.
Yep.
So there's a lot of excuses handy for last year, of course. And I mean, like they're legitimate. Like I'm just scratching the surface of the injury situation. It was horrific. And they bring in Joshua Dobbs, which I guess now, like bringing in Joshua Dobbs and doing what they did, I guess now it's like we see that's just basically him. Just plug him in anywhere, and he'd just become your starting quarterback and a superstar. So the Titans just started the trend there. But
guess so.
But that's the amazing thing too. Is like even with all this, in the midst of 3-13, the Arizona Cardinals, the only team worse, 2-14, and in fact the Cardinals are 2-15 in the last 17. Even in the midst of all that, they were 1 play from winning the AFC South on the road at Jacksonville for a 3rd straight year. But if not for, and that's the thing too. So I was thinking about this last night as I'm writing this story about this. Like hypothetically, like just imagine if, like we had maybe never seen Malik Willis. Tannehill had never gotten hurt. They win a couple of those games. They win the division. Where would they be right now? You could argue that they would actually be in a worse place right now because they wouldn't have drafted Will Levis, and they might still be looking at similar, performance issues this year. So I guess you could, if you want to be an optimist, you could say the way things went at least got them what they hope is their quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could play out that way. I mean, what's amazing to me is the fact that they were 7-3, and then it swung so wildly the other way. Now, I do remember in the path to get to 7-3 last year, they had not beaten very many good teams. Like, they beat the Colts twice, and they beat the Texans, and they beat, I think Washington on the road at one time. I think Washington at one point last year with Carson Wentz was like at 500.
Yeah.
And I think that was the only
bad
win that they had at the time that was like against a team that was 500 or better. So the schedule wasn't very good for the Titans in the first half of the year. But regardless, you end up 7-3, and then you just totally bottom out. Like, it is amazing that this roster, who, as we have come to find out, had some holes in it, and then injuries took their toll last year, got to a place where they were 7-3 in complete control of the division, and then just totally bottomed out the other way. Like, there was no middle ground. They were 7-3, and then they were totally terrible for the next 7 games after that. And that has continued into this season where they just have so many holes with their roster. That's this league, though. Like, it can fall apart quickly. The flip side of that, Joe, is, and we've talked about this, if you make good decisions, you can also turn things around pretty quickly. in this league too, which is the hope if you're a Titans fan sitting here today.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, last year it is interesting because I think even in the midst of some of those, you're right, they didn't have a lot of great wins because Green Bay, like Rodgers thumb was messed up. I still think that was a pretty good win. But even like the loss at Kansas City was like, boy, with Malik Willis, and look at what they did to that offense. But the year before, lots of injuries too, most injuries ever, but they won huge games. They beat the best teams in the league, on their way to the one seed. They lost to some bad ones, but they beat the best teams in the league. I mean, last year they're also really competitive with Cincinnati. But it is amazing, again, to also consider 7-3, beat Green Bay, huge game against – and, again, like that week we're talking – this is playoff positioning. This is Bengals, Titans.
Yeah.
The Titans going to get another crack at these guys in the postseason. What's this look like in the rematch? And it was a very good game, and it was a 20-16 win for the Bengals. Okay, 7-4. And then you have the just terrible performance at Philly and John Robinson fired like that. Like,
that was it.
See ya.
Yep.
And then, then you know what happened. And I'll never be able to prove that the Titans beat the Jaguars and just end the whole thing on the next Sunday. I'll never be able to prove that, but I strongly believe that that move by Amy Adams-Strunk hurt her team. Now, am I giving too much credit to that team because they ended up still like losing to the Texans and maybe, but all they had to do was win that game and then basically they're fine.
Yeah, and then they didn't, and it continued to spiral out of control from there. It is interesting, like if they win that game, to your point, how different is the trajectory of the team right now? Now, the roster, I think, eventually got to a point, both from an injury standpoint, but certainly now heading into this year, where it just, especially on the offensive line, has deteriorated to where it's just not good. So, like the Titans, I don't know if they would be any better this year if those things last year didn't happen. Now, the difference is, would you have drafted Will Levis? And if not, would we be spending all our time right now talking about Caleb Williams and Bo Nix and Drake May and all these quarterbacks as the Titans sit here at 3-6
I guess that's
with
true.
Tannehill as their quarterback?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's an interesting one. But if you don't draft Will Levis, you also draft you have maybe a good receiver.
Maybe.
Or you have another football player who's helping this team. It can make a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and again, it's like the big hypothetical is Tannehill not getting hurt, because then now there's still a daily being around Malik Willis or whatever, and maybe they're still like, yeah, just try to get somebody else. But I think Malik Willis playing was part of drafting Will Levis.
LD from McMinnville says, how many defensive players have been drafted under Vrabel and developed into really good players? 2, maybe 3. The reason I point to defense should be obvious. This is from LD from McMinnville on the text line.
Well, David Long Jr. comes to mind. Jeffrey Simmons comes to mind. Christian. I mean, do you give Christian Fulton? I mean, Roger McCreary, Christian Fulton. Those guys come to mind. Amani Hooker comes to mind.
Yeah.
Those I'm just off the top of my head. Now, his first draft that he was here. Well, Landry comes to mind. So, yeah, there's a few. Now, that first draft, of course, was Rashaan Evans.
Yep.
So that one most decidedly did not work out. But those just come right to my mind. I may be missing some people here. Obviously, like Rashad Weaver is sort of, not working out so well lately here. He's kind of been up and down. He's, it's a backup guy.
Tierra Tart?
Well, they didn't draft him.
Oh, he was signed. That's right. Never mind.
So if we're specifically now, but he does count as a guy that they got, right, who worked out pretty right. Well. I mean, Chris Jackson is a 7th round pick, is a great value.
That was.
If you wanna go there, what do we think of Elijah Molden? Like a certain miss right now would be Monty Rice. A certain miss would be Farley, but that's health. Elijah Molden, what do we think of him?
I would not put him in that category.
I'd still put him in the in-between category, to be fair to him.
In-between's fine.
But. Yeah, like he plays. He's decent. He hasn't been what they hoped, but yeah, I mean, there's a few. It's not as barren as even when you said that, in my mind, I'm like, it's not many, but it's a little bit better than I thought.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Coming up next, it's time for the best and worst things in sports. We'll take your best things, your worst things on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Green right, box 2 run, double catch. He takes you inside the huddle through the eyes of a quarterback. Wide 85, take! Catch ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck every Tuesday at noon as he breaks down the big stories in the NFL.
Buffalo, maybe Miami.
And with the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans might be like, we're interested in a 1-year, $1 million contract.
Tim Hasselbeck is on Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Go big or go home. Unless you're part of Smashville. Because here, going big means you are home. Big hits. Big names. Big history. Big energy. Welcome to Smashville.
Preds fans, join us as we take on the Chicago Blackhawks this Saturday, November 18th at Bridgestone Arena. Secure tickets today at NashvillePredators.com.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
Bye!
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Let Regal Realty Group get you into a home that is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Get more info at regalrg.com.
Get ready for a magical holiday experience at Belmead Historic Site and Winery. Join us for our free holiday open house Thursday, November 16th from 5 till 8 p.m. Meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, tour our enchanting mansion, and delight in holiday crafts and activities for the whole family. Treat yourself with our renowned wines and bourbon from Belmead Winery and savor foods from the Belmead Meat and 3. Let's create cherished memories that will last a lifetime at Belmead Historic Site and Winery. Only 7 miles from downtown Nashville. Reserve online at visitbelmead.com.
You already know Prize Picks is the most fun you'll have this football season. But now you can play during basketball season too. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on the projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Visit prizepicks.com/playnow and use code PLAYNOW. That's code PLAYNOW at prizepicks.com/playnow. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Hi, what brings you to the clinic today?
Oh, the baby's not feeling well. I think she might have a fever.
Well, let's check her temp with the Exergen thermometer. You're right. These Exergen thermometers are very accurate. Reads 101.2.
Oh, gosh. Well, that Exergen thermometer sure is fast and easy to use.
Yes, and many doctors recommend Exergen for home use.
Exergen thermometers, backed by over 100 clinical studies, are available at Walgreens and participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Did you miss some of the show? Check us out on demand. Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other major podcast platforms.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The best and worst of the sports week now on Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is the worst.
You look like you're feeling sorry for yourself. Believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
He's one of one. He is him.
This is a Coke bottle. It's not a crystal ball.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Okay, let's go.
It is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in sports here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your best things, your worst things on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, kick us off with your best and worst things in the world of sports.
No, Dane from Nolensville. Worse is not Draymond with his headlock. Stop crying out there. Draymond's fine.
It's pretty funny.
He might have held the headlock a little bit too long.
He got suspended 5 games.
Yeah, he gets 5 games. So I think that brings him to 22 in his career. That's a solid.
That's it?
He's no Lambeer, but that's a solid.
I thought he'd had way more than that.
Yeah, only 22.
He's got some work to do.
Yeah, well, give him time. So my best and worst, I'm going to do one of my beloved, both the same thing.
Sure.
Best in sports is Tennessee men's basketball. You know, Wisconsin's not a world beater, but that's a tough place to play. They go up there and win a Friday night game up in Madison after they've already won in Breslin Center against Michigan State. Not in a game that didn't count, but you saw what they have. Dalton Connect is a first-round pick. It's one of those. It's kind of a lucky break, honestly. I mean, I give credit to Rick Barnes and his staff, but like this guy. I mean, I think in the athletics portal rankings, he was ranked like 45th.
Yeah.
He's grown into like a pro, and he fits perfectly what they do. Jordan Gainey also fits perfectly. The Athletic ranks them number 1. I think they are number 1. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And the worst thing in sports is that people are already like taking it to Rick Barnes in March. Like, you have to be able to enjoy a season, folks. You know, I talk about football games all the time, right? Like you get to see your team 12 times a year. So you might want to, take advantage of that or you might want to appreciate that. I mean, these guys only play, 32 or whatever it is. And the Vols have, like I said, they're in Maui. They're going to play, if they beat Syracuse, they're going to play Purdue, I think, and then they might play Kansas. They got at North Carolina coming up. Illinois is coming into Knoxville, and that's a good team. Kentucky's for real this year. That's going to be good. Alabama is going to be good. I mean, maybe even Vanderbilt can make those games good by the time we get to them. There's a lot of season to enjoy this team, so just enjoy it. Don't just immediately start crying and curling up in a ball about how they're going to blow it in March. They're a great team. They're going to be so much fun to watch. Enjoy it. That's my worst and best.
It is difficult to not think about March a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's November.
I know. I'm with you.
There's a lot of big games to come.
There are. Nick Keyser, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
I will start with Josh Dobbs being my best. That was so much fun to watch this weekend. And hearing him tell the story, too, about how the Cardinals were like, no, we're not going to trade you. Like, don't worry about it. And just hearing everything in detail with how open he's been during this entire time has been awesome. And the fact that he has multiple touchdowns with 2 different teams this year in the regular season is insane. He's the only quarterback to do that, which is crazy. So he's had a wonderful story this year. My worst, Josh Allen sucks. Like, Josh Allen is the worst right now. He leads the league with, 11 picks, I think? And I just don't see him being that elite quarterback that can help this team get over the slump of winning a Super Bowl. I don't think he is there. So he has looked awful, and Monday night was tough to watch overall, but he was god-awful.
He's been turning the football over a lot. A whole lot.
Yes. A nice quarterback.
2 Joshes.
There. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. The 2 Joshes.
Very well done. My worst thing in sports, I have 2. Michigan football playing the victim. I mean, you could kind of put that as the best because it's been pretty funny to watch the post-game interview and then, Jim Harbaugh get up there this week. I think this is America's team. That we in America, we love teams that overcome the odds and refute what the naysayers have to say. And this is America's team in Michigan. This is what we do here. So that's been funny to watch. Also, the NBA in-season tournament. I thought it was going to be stupid heading into it, and it has been every bit as stupid as I thought it would be.
That's a good one.
It's done absolutely nothing for me. I guess there are people that apparently enjoy this, but it was hilarious like a week ago. They were asking all these players about the NBA in-season tournament, and they were like, yeah, I don't really know what it is. But yeah, cool. We're just playing. It's like, yeah, there's no incentive for these players. I'm sure if you're like a bottom of the roster player and you win the $1 million as a team that this thing is for, cool. That's nice. But like Do we think that LeBron James and Giannis and the star players give a single crap about the NBA in-season tournament and the financial prize that comes with it? The answer is no.
Right. The fans don't care either.
No. It's so stupid.
It's really dumb. All they need to do is figure out whatever number of games will allow the great players to play all the games.
Yes.
That's it.
That's what they need to do. And my best thing in sports, I am very much looking forward to this. Now, I will be busy watching the Predators and the Avalanche on Monday night. I'm very much looking forward to Chiefs and Eagles on Monday Night Football coming up. Super Bowl rematch. I think potentially a Super Bowl preview. Again, I would not be surprised at all if both of them were back in there. But that one's going to be interesting. I'm calling my shot now. The Eagles win on the road.
Ooh.
Taking down Kansas City.
Ooh.
What do you think of that?
Okay. I think you're going to be wrong.
I could be. Eagles. I think the Eagles are the best team in the league.
Yeah, they might be. I watched San Fran last week, and I'm
They're
like,
good.
yeah, they're scary. That's going to be the title game, right? I mean,
Yes.
Get this Lions crap out of my face.
Well, I don't know. Lions right now, higher seed than San Francisco is. Keep that in mind.
If San Fran played in Detroit, that sets up perfectly for major disappointment. Yeah, the Harbaugh thing, man, it's amazing. Like John Harbaugh this week's like, I mean, he's coming through this with flying colors.
Yeah.
So it's like, is he?
I don't think so, John. I mean, look, it's your brothers. You say whatever you
Sure.
want to say. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. He's at a press conference, asked about his brother. Right. That's what he's going to say. But it's pretty amazing. Just like to thank the Lord, all you MFers out there. Yeah.
Travis on the text line says, best thing, Big Mac Celebrini will be a Nashville Predator. Speaking it into existence, he is projected to be the number 1 pick this year. So we'll see. Long way to go. We'll see. Worse, football season flying by, and both his teams suck. I don't know who Travis's teams are. I assume the Titans is one of them, but Travis not having fun in football season.
Sorry, Travis. If you're the Vandy Titans combo, Vandy Titans combo, that's tough. That is tough. If you're a Vols Titans, it's not terrible.
Not terrible.
It's okay.
It's all right.
Vols fans are already mad at me. I got Vols fans mad at me.
What are they mad at you?
Well, because I tied them in with the Titans and Vanderbilt.
Oh, good.
I mean, it's been, for them it's been fine. But tell me what percentage of Tennessee fans on the day before the opener are like 8-4. Cool, I'd be happy with that.
Not very many.
Right. There's a difference. 9-3. I think most people reasonably would have said that's pretty good.
Yeah.
8-4, no one's happy with that.
No.
Now, if they beat Georgia,
Changes things.
I guess apparently we're paying for lunch too. If that right?
I guess so.
We're paying for Big Joe and Chase
a friendly
for
wager
lunch.
With,
we didn't make the wager. We
did
just
not.
got forced into the wager. But I'm fine with it. You fine with it?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll continue to take your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We've got Predators assistant coach Derek McKenzie coming up at 7:15. We'll get into the Predators with him. Coming up next, we'll continue the conversation on the AFC South. Can the Houston Texans actually win this thing this year? We'll get into that. We'll continue to look ahead to the Titans and Jags coming up on Sunday. All that ahead. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Our voice.
They're not getting what they paid for.
It's the worst offensive line.
Your voice.
Above all, I would do almost whatever it took to get in here.
And what matters to Nashville.
Then hope that the play action is going to work.
Can somebody explain that to me?
We are 102.5 and 106.3, The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an extraordinary event with savings up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day store-wide event. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes included. Lab-grown diamonds included. It's this Friday, Saturday, and yes, even open Sunday for this incredible event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
This year, celebrate with your loved ones at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel. Enjoy Southern farm to table dishes with an elegant touch that is only available from the Omni Nashville Hotel. Start with citrus poached shrimp and cocktail crab claws, then move quickly to the main menu featuring herb roast turkey and smoked prime rib. Plus, indulge in a variety of sides and breakfast items. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your friends and family at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Make your reservation now at opentable.com.
Your company's hiring. Who isn't? We would love to show you how to use 1025 The Game to attract and retain employees. We can also help you find the exact person you're looking for with a targeted digital campaign. You can trust our team to help you build your team. Email us at together@cromwellmedia.com.
Need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit could get you $20, $50, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Willie Donick here. Listen up. You've got a ton of equity in your home, and Loan Pronto can help turn that equity into cash to put it to use. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards or pay off personal loans. Start the home improvement project you've been looking for. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact, so your 3% rate is protected. Call right now, 615-499-5780. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards. 615-499-5780 or go online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
One of the most influential metal bands of all time. For the fans, for the brothers, for legacy. Pantera. Friday, February 9th, Bridgestone Arena. With special guests, Lamb of God. On sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Pantera, live in concert.
Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Keyser. The Tennessee Titans are continuing their preparation ahead of taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. Quarterback Will Levis is set to start again, so how does he feel about slowing the game down out there on the field as he keeps getting some experience?
You know, it's all about reps, getting those game reps, especially because practice is a lot different with the quarterback position and not getting hit and feeling the pressure and knowing when to get the ball out or move or what have you. So it's been great. If anything, just give me confidence that I can go out there and operate, but obviously got to do a better job.
And the Nashville Predators were back on the ice yesterday at Centennial Sportsplex and will have the day off before getting ready for the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow afternoon when they take on their Central Division rival on Saturday for a matinee matchup. And over in the NBA, Draymond Green has been suspended 5 games after his scuffle with Rudy Gobert on Tuesday evening. Green was last suspended in last year's playoffs after stepping on Domantas Sabonis from the Sacramento Kings. And stay tuned for Yahoo Sports' Charles Robinson as he's set to join Robby and Rexrode at 8 a.m. with all the latest in the NFL. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air. Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Thursday morning. We'll have Predators assistant coach Derek McKenzie coming up at 7:15. Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports from 8 to 8:30 here on the program. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025, our phone number. Joe, big game for the Titans this weekend in terms of trying to stay alive in the conversation of the division, the wild card race. They lose this one, and it's pretty much over at that point. It may be over anyway, but if you lose this one, it's you're in deep trouble at that point.
I say that just means it's a must-win against the Carolina Panthers.
Well, maybe so. Maybe so.
Then you're over if you lose that one.
Jacksonville 6-3. They just got destroyed by San Francisco at home. It is interesting. They've you look at what they've done at home. They're 2-3. On the road, they're 4-0.
4-0 away.
So
interesting.
Not a very good home team.
Opposite issue with the Titans.
Yeah, something's got to give on Sunday down there in Jacksonville. But they're 6-3. Houston is 5-4. The Colts are 5-5. Houston with a big win on the road against Cincinnati this past weekend. We know how well C.J. Stroud is playing and continues to play. Can the Texans, can they do this? Can they actually win the division in C.J. Stroud's rookie year, given the state of this division right now, what we've seen from Stroud, their roster, all those things? Do we think the Texans have a legitimate chance to pull this off and win the AFC South in Stroud's rookie year?
I'm not going to count them out right now. They're if you go through their whole season, they start out like you'd expect. They just get blown out at Baltimore. And then at home against the Colts and what I figured, okay, here's the toilet bowl. The Colts beat them 31-20. So they start out, it's like, okay, that's what we thought. They're going to be bad, and it's a rebuild, and it continues, and we'll see if the quarterback's good. That's what it's about. Well, since then, of course, they are 5-2, which started with a 37-17 win in Jacksonville. So they already have the win over the Jags, and they still get them coming to their place.
Yep.
Which is coming up Thanksgiving weekend, so it's coming up soon here. They got the Cardinals at home. You would think then they'd get themselves to 6-4. Also included, like you said, they beat the Bengals. The Bucs was a thriller. Blew out the Steelers. Yep. I mean, those back-to-back games where they just go blow out the Jags and Steelers, like, what is happening? Then they lose to the Falcons. Oh, then they lose to the Panthers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. When the Texans look back at this season, and I still am going to pick Jacksonville to win the division, man, they're going to look at that Panthers game and say, dude, how did you lose to the Panthers?
Yeah.
But they have the second-best team, and like I said, they've got the tiebreaker with the Jags. So, I mean, you look at – they got 3 straight games here coming up. Cards, Jags, Broncos, all at home. I mean, that's going to be actual excitement. And when's the last time that the city of Houston has been excited about anything other than whining about the Titans wearing Oilers uniforms?
It's been a while.
In a football realm. I mean, I think that place can get loud. That place can be a good atmosphere. You got, a chance to have some huge games, and all of a sudden, if they're 8-4 at that point, then it's like at the Jets, at the Titans, and then they play the Titans 2 or 3 games around the Browns, and they finish with the Colts. I mean, right now, I would project them to win. I mean, they're going to win 10 games, I think.
I mean, that's the thing. The division could come down to, between those two teams, who plays better against the Titans. They both have the Titans twice. So Jacksonville has the Titans 2 more times, including the last game of the year. So the last game of the year will be here at Nissan Stadium. And then 2 times against the Texans coming up. Like, if the Titans sneak up and win one of those games, that could end up being the difference in the division at that point.
How exciting, Titans fans.
I'm sure you'd be really excited about that.
Your team gets to
you
play
could help
spoiler.
the Houston Texans win the division.
Yeah, exactly. But they on the rigged Jared versus Joe last night. Jared somehow won. We were talking about, of course, Jared's like, I want Bobby Slowick over Vrabel. Yes, I want Bobby Slowick as my coach. He's the Texans'
Your
offensive
impersonations
coordinator.
continue to improve.
Thank you. But and of course, to me, I think that's ridiculous. But it's a pretty good coaching pedigree. I think he is a good OC. Stroud looks great. They have some good receivers. The offensive line, it's solid. And obviously, D'Amico Ryan's the defensive guy, and they've drafted okay there too, and they're not bad defensively. So if you stink for as long as they stunk, like, you should come out of it at some point, right? I just didn't think it would be this year. I figured you give the new coaching staff a year, get the rookie kind of going, and then try to build around him the next year. You start to become good, but they're a year ahead of schedule in my mind.
How much credit we giving Davis Mills for helping C.J. Stroud rise above expectations so far this year?
Oh, there we go.
Had to get one in, sorry.
He's not. CJ's not looking over his shoulder. Because then he'd look and he'd like, wait, I just see someone's chest.
Skyler on the text line says, I shouldn't be nervous about betting $3,000 on the Jags to win on Sunday, right? Like, I'm wondering why everybody isn't doing it. I'm not. Yeah, that's a you do you, man.
Money line?
Yeah, might need to call the money line. Might need to call the hotline.
Yeah, that's true. You might need to call the hotline. Yeah, Skyler, 3,000. Calm down.
I mean, I will say, and we talked about this yesterday with Koharski. Not that I think. I mean, look, the Titans could go down there and win. It's the NFL, so it's not like the Titans can't go down there and win in Jacksonville.
No, yeah,
it's not great to me that Jacksonville just got completely embarrassed last week in terms of what that could mean this week for the Titans. Like, I think Jacksonville's better than they are anyway, clearly. But the fact that they just got beat by 31 at home, I would hope, like if Jacksonville is the team that people think they are, there's a little bit of focus and a little bit of anger they may be getting ready to take out this week.
Yeah, I would say so.
One-arm push-ups?
I would, yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, because they had won 5 in a row before then. I thought the Bills win was a big deal over in wherever in Europe they were. The Bills, look a little underwhelming at this point. I mean, they've had a really soft schedule. But the win at Pittsburgh, was solid. I guess you wonder if a game like that shakes your confidence at all. But, yeah, they're going to be ticked off. There's no doubt about that. Still, the Titans winning this game, the Titans winning this game to me is quite a bit. Yeah, I'd say quite a bit more likely than the Vols beating Georgia.
Well, yeah.
Fair?
It's the NFL, right?
It's NFL.
I think it's more like, Jacksonville opened up as a 6.5-point favorite. I'd have to go back and look and see what they are right now. But it's not like this is some – first off, Jacksonville is good. I don't think they're great. Kansas City's a great team. I think Baltimore is better than Jacksonville is. Jacksonville, I think, is good. I don't know that they're an elite team in the AFC. So the Titans have a chance to go on the road if they can somewhat block, which is a huge question. I get that. But it's not like it's impossible for the Titans to go down there and win.
Right. Now, to your point of your question here, the Jaguars, obviously, they rise up and they overtake the Titans. They got the young QB.
Yep.
And so they're the clear favorite, and some people are picking the Super Bowl and all that stuff this year. What's the feeling in Jacksonville if the Texans win the AFC South this year and just leapfrog them immediately?
Not good.
And their quarterback, a rookie, is outplaying the Jacksonville third-year quarterback. What does that mean?
I guess you could still make the playoffs if you're Jacksonville there and just, I guess, see what you do once you get there. But it would not be encouraging if I'm a Jags fan that, Houston has landed on a quarterback that immediately produced better results than ours did. And then what about the Titans? What about Will Levis? What's that going to look like? What about Anthony Richardson? It would not make me feel very good. This should be, especially now that the Titans have transitioned to a rookie, this should be Jacksonville's time in the division. And if it's not, that would be pretty concerning to me if I'm a Jags fan.
Right. Like the Titans and Colts can both kind of, it's like the Titans just switched to Levis. The Colts, Richardson's out all year, so they even if Houston wins, wait till next year. But for Jacksonville, that would be a big
gut punch.
Bleep sandwich.
Yeah, it would not be good.
Sorry, I was thinking about the Michigan coaching staff after games.
Just glad you bleeped.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Predators assistant coach Derek McKenzie. We'll look ahead to a big matchup with Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks coming in on Saturday. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The Titans are 3-6 after losing to the Bucs.
I'm worried this is stunting the growth of the big picture here.
Can they rebound against Jacksonville?
You're not winning if the offensive line continues to play the way they have been playing.
Keep it locked to Nashville's best Titans talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift-giving easy.
Hey, let me tell you about Burger Joint Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beer. And they've been winning fans and accolades since opening in downtown Nashville. They serve award-winning craft burgers, wings, salads, over-the-top crazy milkshakes, kicking cocktails, and good times. Then throw in an 80s, 90s Soho design vibe, throwback music, and awesome staff. It's no wonder why Black Tap just won National Scene's Best of Nashville's Readers Poll for Best New Restaurant and Best New Bar. Check out Black Tap, located downtown across from the Batman Building on 3rd Avenue in Commerce. Discounted parking is also available.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
Experience the thrill of gaming glory at Harrah's Casino and Hotel, just a little over 2 hours northwest of Nashville off I-24. Call 1-800-HARRAHS and reserve your room today to indulge in top-tier casino gaming, appetizing dining experiences, and their cutting-edge sports book. As a Caesar Rewards destination, every moment you spend at Harrah's Metropolis earns you points across the entire Caesars empire. It's your time to win with Harrah's Metropolis. Must be 21 or older to gamble. No one to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
The game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the game at 615-737-1025.
Today, football is a game of sound. What if you couldn't hear your coach's play calls? What if you couldn't hear the referee's whistle? For deaf and hard of hearing athletes like me, these what-ifs are a reality. But with the AT&T 5G helmet, now we can see play calls just like the other teams hear them.
Connect the player, change the game. Learn more at att.com/5G helmet. Connecting changes everything. AT&T. AT&T is a proud supporter of the Gallaudet Bison AT&T 5G helmet, not for sale.
Hello, baby.
Sammy Hagar presents
The best of all worlds. I'm bringing some of my best friends along. Michael Anthony, Jason Bonham, and Joe Satriani.
August 28th, Bridgestone Arena, with special guest Loverboy. One night, every era, and a whole lot of Van Halen. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com.
Hello, fellow kids. Make sure you're following us on X, the website formerly known as Twitter. At 1025 The Game, at R. Stanley NHL, and at Joe Rexrode. See, even I'm hip.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Thursday morning. Preds with a couple days off here. Practiced yesterday. They'll have the day off today. Back at it on Saturday for a nice little matinee matchup. When Chicago comes to town, matinee hockey is the best hockey. Love it. Looking forward to that one coming up on Saturday. And to help us talk more about the Preds, we go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in Predators assistant coach Derek McKenzie. Derek, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, guys, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking time to be with us. I appreciate it. So, Derek, obviously you and Brunette coming into a new team and a new situation here. What have you learned about this group through the first 15 games? Obviously, the results lately have not been going your way, but overall, as you guys are trying to get more familiar with the team and the roster that you have, what have you learned about this group to this point?
Well, I mean, I can tell you one thing: we haven't had to complain about effort. I mean, this is a young group, and they are hungry, and they're willing to kind of go the extra mile, and it's a lot coming in here and implementing some Andrew's new systems, and kind of pushing the pace and the style of play that he knows can be successful. I think it's been tough on the guys trying to get up to speed, and I know that feeling, but like I said, on the same token, these guys have, there's only been a couple games, I'd say, that, we really didn't deserve to win. And that's not, take anything away from the other teams that are obviously trying to do the same thing we're doing. It's a very difficult league to win in. And we're just on the other side of it right now. But, again, it's been a lot of fun. Coming in here in training camp, you can kind of feel the energy and the willingness of the guys. So, looking forward to, this next segment coming up.
Yeah, so Derek, obviously, recently you guys have had some multi-goal leads that you've let go. I know there's always multiple factors and things like that, but as a coaching staff, is there anything you guys can identify as like, if we change this, then that stops happening?
Yeah, I think if you go back to the Calgary game, I think that was probably a little misleading. I think we did have a 2-goal lead, and probably didn't deserve it. And there is a saying in hockey that it's the worst lead in hockey, and I think it kind of caught up to us a little bit. Moving forward to the Arizona game, that's kind of the last couple are on us. I think these are games that. It's not necessarily, what maybe structurally something. I mean, on a daily basis, we're trying to grow and get better. But, I just think when you're a young team, you've got to find those moments to put teams away. And when we've had those 2-goal leads, we've had moments, not to be greedy, but to make it 3-0 or to make it 3-1. Obviously there's going to be momentum shifts in games, and obviously teams are going to push back. If we were down 2-0, obviously between the first, we'd, kind of make some adjustments and make sure we were ready to go for the second. So just learning, those moments in the game that are so important, and that's where good teams either dig in and they shut them down, or they dig in and they get maybe a big goal on the power play, or just find a way to grab that momentum back. And that's, something that, like I said, you look at the teams that have success over and over again are great at doing. And we've just got to kind of, learn from our mistakes and identify those moments and be better.
Derek, Philip Forsberg, a guy that you're familiar with. You played against him in your playing days, obviously. 18 points, 15 games. He's got 5 goals in the last 3 games. And we've seen him do this around here before. When he starts to score, sometimes it can really come in bunches. But overall, just his overall game, the offensive impact he's having right now, what do you make of the way that Forsberg has played for you guys to this point?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously a very dangerous, talented player who's, I give a lot of credit to guys like him because he's done it for so many years, like you alluded to. And, when guys consistently do that, when other teams are consistently putting their best checking lines out against a player every night and still find ways to be as effective as he is, it obviously, speaks volumes on just how talented of a guy he is. I think Phil, just like a lot of guys, it's been, again, a learning curve and transition period for him. And I thought, through the first 5 or 6 games, he was really kind of trying to feel his way through and get acquainted with our system. And now, he's just become a force. And he's a big guy for someone who can be so slippery and skilled, and obviously has, one of the best shots in the game. But when he uses his body as well, and he uses his size, and he kind of drives through those lanes and opens up the ice for O'Reilly and Nyquist and guys like that, he not only is just effective individually, but he makes our team universally better. So he's definitely and again, being hurt a little bit last year, I think it takes time. It's such a fast league, and the timing of everything. And it's been really fun to watch him kind of find his groove again, and he's been a big asset and a great leader for us.
Obviously, a huge loss for you guys with Tommy Novak getting put on IR. Cody Glass is back, so that's at least that times out well in terms of having him and getting him back into things. What's your expectation for Cody Glass? What are your impressions of him so far as a player?
Well, Cody's a super talented kid, and he, obviously a great teammate, and you can just see it on Cody's face that he wants to be that that top line or top, two-line centerman, and he's got all the, the tools to do so. Very similar to Tommy Novak. I mean, both those guys I think are going to be, top line centers in this league for a long time. I mean, both of them just kind of feeling their way through. We've talked a lot about just with the two of them, just the little things, right? I mean, just starting in the face-off circle, let's be strong there, and then let's be guys that, are going to be on the ice not only when we're up a goal, but when we're down a goal. You want, as a centerman, you want to be there in those moments if we need one in a big face-off, or if we need to, close out a game with the other team pulling their goalie. Let's start there. Let's be, a 200-foot player. Let's be responsible, and then let's build our game from there. And I think, obviously Novi has that offensive upside, and Cody does as well. I think Cody's, proven that he's a responsible player, and I think the next step for him is just, finding ways to impact the game offensively. But it'll come. Like I said, he's got the tools. He's ambitious and a hard worker. And usually when you have that combination of things, it's just a matter of time where you kind of and in fairness too, he's been kind of playing with different players, and that's kind of what happens. When you have a few injuries early, everyone's still trying to find where they fit in and find some chemistry. But I'm very confident Cody will.
Derek McKenzie with us here on Robby and Rex. So, Derek, last thing for you here. From my perspective in the media, it's been really interesting to hear Andrew Brunette kind of talk the game and think the game and hear kind of his approach to things. From your standpoint, as you've been in meetings with him, as obviously your relationship goes back with him, what do you make of Andrew Brunette's coaching style, and what have you learned about him as a head coach through your time with him to this point?
Well, I mean, I've known Andrew, probably 30 years, and I got an opportunity just to, he's a little bit older than me, but kind of took me under his wing, and it started, just in the summertime with like work ethic and just the amount of time that he put in to preparing for seasons, and I was able to kind of hop on his coattail and learn a lot from him. Andrew's always had this great ability to kind of slow the game down, even though it's so fast. It's like, he can see it in slow motion. He can see the pockets. He can see the plays. He can see the lanes. And I think, those are a lot of the things, especially on the power play, that he tries to translate to the guys. Because obviously, this game just continues to get faster and faster. But I think, more than anything, regardless of all the X's and O's, that he can be so good at. I think, just the passion for the game, the love for the game. It's a guy that just loves to be around the rink. At the end of the day, he could be off doing something else. He had a prolific career and has been involved in different organizations. This is just about him wanting to win. This is about him, enjoying the challenge and some of the daily rigors that come with going through these kinds of things. And I think he's been in this situation before. And if it was easy, right, I don't think maybe any of us would do it. I think these are the challenges that get guys like him that are so competitive excited. And I think it's contagious, and I know every day I'm learning something new, and I think it's just a great lesson. I got a son that's 12 years old, and daughter that's 14, playing for the junior Preds, and I think more than anything, every day, if you can kind of inject some of that passion, some of that joy into the game, sometimes that's exactly what you need, and that's you get the result that you wanted from something as simple as that.
Well, Derek, great stuff, man. Really appreciate you taking time to be with us. Looking forward to talking with you throughout the season, and good luck on Saturday. We'll talk soon.
All right, guys. Anytime. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Absolutely. Predators assistant coach Derek McKenzie, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. Interesting stuff there. Like being around Brunette, he does think the game. Even like somebody like me who's not around him every day in the coaching setting, but just from like the media standpoint, it's fascinating hearing him like explain things. So it's been a really interesting start to his tenure to this point. Obviously, the results not going well for the Predators right now, but I think the Predators have gotten one of these young coaches that is pretty interesting moving forward.
Yeah, pretty sharp, and the results are good from a media perspective.
They are,
which is really what matters.
What
matters is for us. Yeah,
yeah.
Good answers. and interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's always great, right?
That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for.
It's not always the case.
Not always the case, for sure. Coming up next, a surprising stat, I think, for a lot of Titans fans as regards to their offense that I think might take some people off guard. We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Vanderbilt basketball lives here.
Hey, it's Kevin Ingram. It's Vanderbilt and Central Arkansas this Friday night. Join Tim Thompson and me starting at 5:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need, so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
Predators fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue is your home for hockey action all season long. They are Predators approved and all the games are on, and they'll even give you the sound. Get awesome game day drink specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey Beer. When you think hockey, think Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, or Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue. Go Preds!
Hey home buyers, TJ Anderson here with More Great Homes. Located just west of Nashville in a tranquil setting of Kingston Springs Ranchettes neighborhood, 1617 Wildlife Trail offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a 2-car garage, and a 1-year builder warranty, all for under $450,000. Contact my team today at tjandersonhomes.com for more info. Want your home listing to be seen and heard by home buyers? Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why we are referred by clients so often. TJ Anderson Homes at Benchmark Realty, office number 615-432-2919.
Competitive Edge Strength and Conditioning is a locally owned and operated gym located off Lebanon Pike in Hermitage. Hey guys, it's Big Joe, and Competitive Edge is my gym, and they've made a huge impact in my life. Competitive Edge offers everything you want in a gym. Great rates, best personal trainers, super motivational, high energy workouts, clean and organized, great family atmosphere, and they offer a ton of great classes like my favorite, cardio boxing, which has changed my life. Competitive Edge is open 7 days a week, and they're ready for you to join. Make sure you go check them out and tell them Big Joe sent you.
This year, Boys and Girls Club of Middle Tennessee celebrates its 120th anniversary. Through time, BGCMT continues to evolve to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible leaders. Because of your continued support, BGCMT has remained strong and is committed to supporting our youth and solidifying our mission and culture in new exciting ways for 120 years. Visit bgcmt.org today.
One of the most influential metal bands of all time. For the fans, for the brothers, for legacy. Pantera. Friday, February 9th, Bridgestone Arena. With special guests, Lamb of God. On sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Pantera, live in concert.
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station.
Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper.
We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
Nope, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day 1 of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Thursday morning. We're standing on business on Robby and Rexrode. Standing on business.
Stand on business.
As Eli Drinkwitz would say.
Whatever the heck that means. Josh, I stand on business. I'm running away from you now.
You missed it. The Eli Drinkwitz was mic'd up in Tennessee's win against, Missouri's win against Tennessee. And nice little midfield. Conversation's a stretch because it wasn't a conversation. It was Eli Drinkwitz walking up to Josh Heupel, extending a handshake and saying, "We stand on business, Josh," and then immediately turning around and running the other direction.
Bye.
It was very interesting.
Yeah. Heupel had
like zero reaction. What?
Yeah, but I guess so. They took care. They took care of their business. He took care of their business. So there you go.
Way to go,
hey,
Eli.
Got him back.
He got him.
He got him back. He got blown out 2 times, and we were talking about this, and just because you were mentioning it'd be good to see the Vols put $1 million on them, whatever in Neyland, but they will not play next year. So the rematch of Heupel and Eli will have to wait till whenever that will be next year. Do you know next year's Vols opponents real fast?
I don't.
Well, at home, they've got Alabama and Florida, so that's lining up, and they got Kentucky, so those are 3 that, if things didn't change, would be coming in. And they also have Mississippi State coming in. That's a nice scheduling break. Speaking of scheduling breaks, their road games include Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Oklahoma. Now, the Oklahoma
I did know
game,
that one.
Woo, is that going to be fun? Josh Heupel's homecoming. Oklahoma's having a better year, but not the year they hoped.
Right.
So is it going to be Josh come home parade next year?
Mm.
Of course, the Vols, 8-4. Then the Oklahoma fans are also like, well, like last year they were like, please come take over for this guy. He stinks.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
let's wait and see. There's a stat out there that I think some Titans fans will be surprised by, based on the way that this season has gone. Because honestly, I was a little surprised by it when I saw it. Derrick Henry at the moment is second in the NFL in rushing. Christian McCaffrey's at number 1 with 747 yards. Derrick Henry is at number 2 with 625 yards on the season. Now, having said that, Josh Jacobs is 3 yards behind him. Travis Etienne has 618 yards. Zach Moss has 617 yards. Shout out to the Titans for getting Zach Moss into the top 5.
Le'Veon Jr.
In rushing, Le'Veon Jr. So, it's really close. From spots 2 through 5, 8 yards separate those guys. But Derrick Henry, at the moment, number 2 in the NFL in rushing. It doesn't feel like that to me, Joe. Like, it doesn't feel like that should be the case based on the way that things have gone so far this year. But here he is, even with everything that we've seen, number 2 in the NFL in rushing.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, last week I noticed that he was, and then I just assumed he fell down the list with a 25-yard game, but he didn't. So, or what did he have? Like 25, something, right?
24, I believe.
24 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Something like that.
So, and like Josh Jacobs has played 10 games as opposed to Derrick's 9. So, it's Deebo Samuel's back for the Niners. Maybe if the Niners give him a little bit more work in the run game, give McCaffrey a little more work in the pass game, Derrick Henry's got a chance. He's gonna have to have some huge games. He's averaging 4.2 a carry, which obviously is one of the worst averages per carry of his career, if not the worst. McCaffrey's at 4.9. McCaffrey has 5 more attempts and 122 more yards, playing for a much, much, much better team.
Correct.
But still, you think about the idea that Derrick Henry could potentially squeeze a rushing title out of this season, give him the gold jacket.
Yeah.
Just hand it to him.
So he's at 4.2 an attempt. So, he had the ridiculous season in 2020 where he was 5.4 an attempt, and since then he's gone 4.3, 4.4, and now is at 4.2. So 2021, 4.3 an attempt. Last year, 4.4 an attempt, and now at 4.2 an attempt with an atrocious offensive line in front of him.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's obviously in 2020 everything was working. Everything worked well for the offense. So and he was pre-broken foot. It was all. But that's a ridiculous. 5.4 for a full season when you rush for 2,000 yards is a ridiculous average per carry.
Also, an interesting number that I just ran. So he's got 148 carries so far this year through 9 games. That's on pace for 279. If you want to round up, 280 carries for the season, which is pretty low for him, right? Like, so, I mean, he only had 219 carries in 2021. We played 8 games. So you're talking about, I mean, he ended up with almost 450 carries that year. Last year, he had 349. In 2020, for his 2,000-yard season, he had 378. And right now, he's on pace for around 280. So you're talking about, 60 less carries than he had last year. That's a pretty significant number.
Yeah. And that does feel that way.
That does feel that way,
right?
for sure.
I mean, we've had a few games where it was a little bit more like it's been, but that does feel that way. And hey, when he gets 20, they win. I'm just saying, when he gets 20, they win.
He does.
By the way, I was looking at that yards per carry. I just was curious. I did not realize this. I went back to Barry Sanders' 2,000-yard season, 97, 6.1 a carry.
Gracious.
That's in the NFL.
Golly.
It's absolutely absurd. 5.0 for his career. What's Derek's career?
4.7.
4.7. Pretty
good.
Good, man. Pretty good. So, it's look, if they can figure out a way to get the ball out and get somebody other than DeAndre Hopkins making some plays. Kyle Phillips has started to do that a little bit. Get Burks back. You have some level of balance. You have more of a chance to give Derrick Henry some running lanes.
He's on pace for almost 1,200 yards. Yeah. 1,181 yards is the official pace that he's on right now. So, I'm sure he'll have some games where he gets closer to 100. I'm sure Sunday was probably not the last time either, Joe, this year that we saw him get 12 carries for 30 yards this year. Like, there's probably going to be a kind of a mixing and matching of those stat lines as the rest of the season goes on here, but on pace for around 1,200 yards.
I mean, other than, so then that would give him, 5 out of 6 years with more than 1,000, and unfortunate for him that the 1 year he missed it by 63 yards because he missed the last 9 games.
Yeah, he may have ran for 2,000 yards that year.
Yeah. But beyond the obvious priority of this season for the Titans is Will Levis and keeping him healthy, getting him experience, all that stuff. I'd say number 2 is just getting Derrick Henry some numbers, right?
Yep.
Get Derrick Henry some numbers.
How much of him being number 2 in the league right now rushing the ball do you think has to do with how teams use running backs right now? Because, I mean, Jacobs is number 3. Like you said, he's played 10 games to this point. McCaffrey's number 1, a really good player, and number 2 has a fantastic offensive line in front of him. But there's so much running back by committee right now in the league that you just don't see running backs get a ton of carries in games anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot more running back by committee, obviously. It used to be most teams had a primary back, and so it was a different. But it's funny, look at, like, Josh Jacobs has 186 carries.
Yeah.
So he's on pace for a big number. He's averaging 3.3 a carry, which is stunning to me. And I'm stunned to see ETN's numbers. He's got 160. He's got 12 more carries than Derrick Henry in the same number of games, and he's averaging 3.9. Every time I see the Jags, he's making some big play. Yeah. But obviously, there's a lot of negative and not much runs with him going too. But those guys are getting volume, at running back. But yeah, there aren't many. I mean, there aren't many guys. I mean, you got Swift has 135 is a pretty high number. Mixon 137. Saquon's at 139. Kenneth Walker's. I mean, there's still guys who are going to end up, kind of pushing 300 carries. But yeah, there's way fewer teams that look at it that way. So you take that. I mean, that has to be considered.
Yeah. Raheem Mostert, 109 carries, 605 yards, 5.6 a carry right now. I guess when you, as a team, you run for like 500 yards against Denver in that one game.
Yeah, that will inflate things. But, getting a Shane back, too, will take his numbers down a little bit, but will make that offense, I think, pretty lethal again. It's already lethal, but that guy is fast.
And the Titans get to go play them on the road later in the year on Monday Night Football.
They'll all be there for Monday Night Football.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Coming up next, it's time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. We will do that next. Tune in to 93.3 Classic Hits this Saturday for MTSU football. The Blue Raiders will kick off at 1 o'clock at home against UTEP, pregame beginning at 12 o'clock. Coverage also available on the 93.3 Classic app and at 933classichits.com. Also join Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Derek Mason at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs this Sunday from 9:30 to 11:30 for our NFL pregame show. They'll break down the Titans' Week 11 matchup against the Jaguars and give you the latest updates before the game. Our NFL pregame show presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Beast Unleashed. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Are you always on the go? We've got you covered. Download the Game Nashville app from your app store and listen to us wherever you are.
Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode.
It's Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mays.
Dominic Cavity.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
Good station. I listen to it all the time.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Huge discounts up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy pool tables. Prices starting as low as $14.99 installed.
Perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure has huge savings on massage chairs. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. 4D massage chair more than half off at $29.99.
Family Leisure guarantees to beat anyone's advertised home theater seating prices. Shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables on sale as well.
That's Family Leisure at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
I have to confess, I was very excited to call 911. Finally, a good one, you know, like, and I realize that while what I'm about to say is true, it sounds suspicious. So I'm like, my wife fell down the stairs.
From his multiple Netflix specials, comedian Tom Segura brings his new tour, Come Together, to Bridgestone Arena Friday, April 12th. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Get ready to dig into the future of construction. Look no further than Parman Tractor and Equipment. They've got the power and precision you need with link belt excavators, where red means go. Whether you're looking to rent or buy, link belt excavators are known for reliability and performance. When you see that red and gray machine on the job site, you know it's time to get things done. Parman Tractor's team offers unparalleled service. Visit parmantractor.com and get in the dirt with employee owners of Parman, where red means go. Don't miss out on totally outrageous customer service.
This year, celebrate with your loved ones at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel. Enjoy Southern farm to table dishes with an elegant touch that is only available from the Omni Nashville Hotel. Start with citrus poached shrimp and cocktail crab claws, then move quickly to the main menu featuring herb roast turkey and smoked prime rib. Plus, indulge in a variety of sides and breakfast items. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your friends and family at Kitchen Notes inside the Omni Nashville Hotel from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Make your reservation now at opentable.com.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the college football superfan who painted their back window in school colors and their side windows and the mirrors and most of the windshields. Why would you pay a rate based on anyone else? Get a rate based on you with DriveWise in the Allstate app.
Not available in California, subject to terms and conditions. Some states' participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating, while in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up?
I'm tired of feeling so bloated.
That used to be me. Then I got this.
Align bloating relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right?
Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align bloating relief plus food digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
Predators fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue are 102.5 The Game's official home for Predators watch parties. Catch all the games at Brewhouse and enjoy great specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey Beer. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Do
you like what you're hearing? Do you want your business to be featured on Robby and Rexrode every morning? This is General Manager Sean Ford. 102.5 The Game listeners love supporting our advertisers. Let us show you how you can be a part of the program. Email me at together@cromwellmedia.com.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Yep. We're staying on business, Josh.
Well, then ask the question. No, I'm just saying, like, you look ridiculous.
Jared, are you trying to be cool?
It is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. Joe Rexrode's Rant of the Day. Joseph, with Vrabel chastising you about your hands in the background, I turn things over to you.
I should go over there and say, hey, look at this, Vrabes.
I mean, that would be a legitimate question.
Scarred hand.
With the scar you have on your hand, that would be a legitimate question from Vrabel to ask you, like, what has happened with your hands?
Yeah.
What
exactly.
are you doing?
Maybe I'll have to go over there. Maybe I'll have to go over tomorrow and just put it in his face. For those who don't know, because someone didn't rinse off their plate, I was trying to scrub stuff off a plate which snapped in half and then gouged my hand.
It's a tough one.
I probably should have gotten stitches. Oh, well. Anyway, I want to talk today. We didn't no Clark Lee this week. Clark Lee and Vanderbilt is on the idle or off week. Both of those are acceptable terms. So I'm going to speak about Clark Lee also because I wrote something today about the bad year. It's been it's been a really, really bad year for the Titans and Commodores. An underwhelming year for the Vols. Maybe it is unfair that I could lump them together, but whatever. It's too late now, okay? But the Commodores in particular, I want to talk about them because I'm actually a little bit – I think I mentioned this briefly maybe a week or two ago, but it's actually kind of stunning to me. I don't see Vanderbilt fans show up on message board geniuses a lot, as unlike other fan bases that are there frequently. That fan bases I will not name. Actually, Michigan's fan base is, I think, leading the way in message board genius posts at this point.
Right now they are, yes.
Yeah, but there's actually let me just ask any Vanderbilt fans out there, do you actually think there's a chance that Clark Lee gets fired at the end of this season? Because apparently, a lot of people do, and they're talking about here's the coaching hot board, and are you serious?
We got people texting us today about Jimbo Fisher to Vanderbilt.
Well, I love that. Now that was a joke, right?
I don't know.
I mean, I hope. I mean, Jimbo Fisher as a volunteer coach.
Yeah.
Just he's good with money. Just coach for free, and see what he can do. Yeah, look, this is where it also gets. If you're yelling at someone because what they think is ridiculous, which is that Clark Lee would have any chance of being fired, it's like you're defending, this season or whatever. I'm not saying Vanderbilt fans shouldn't be upset and discouraged. It's hard to see. It's just where this is going. I don't know. I'm not counting out anything, but it's a very disappointing third season. But I am saying, you got to be in complete fantasy land if you think there's any chance that he would be fired. And I don't think he should be fired. I mean, you have to understand what he took over, and you have to understand how difficult it is to turn around. Maybe he won't. As we talked about earlier in the show, a year ago, all of a sudden you're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're seeing these two huge wins, and obviously this year has been a big disappointment. But, yeah, Clark Lee's going to be the coach of Vanderbilt football. Not just next year. I'll tell you with confidence he'll be the coach of Vanderbilt football in 2025. And then I think it's fair to evaluate what he's done, where he is. This is a program, and maybe an old school notion to talk about 5-year plan. Because he talked about 10-year plan, but 5-year, give a coach 5 years. It doesn't happen, especially in the SEC a lot. People talking about Billy Napier getting fired. I get it. But this job, this situation he inherited, it's absolutely a 5-year situation.
I don't know that I agree with you that he's going to be there in 2025.
You think next year he could be fired?
I think he could. That's why I think this year is such a disappointment because, and I know you can't think this way if you're them, so I get it. But I'm looking at their schedule next year. They're getting ready to go 2-10 here. They've got Virginia Tech as a non-conference game next year at Nissan Stadium. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just like totally guarantee things a year out. Probably a loss. You have Norfolk State, SMU, Georgia State. So let's say you find a way to cobble together 3 non-conference wins. Listen to their conference schedule next year. At Auburn, at Kentucky, at LSU, at Missouri, home against Alabama, home against South Carolina, home against Tennessee, home against Texas. They ain't winning an SEC game. It's not happening. They're not winning an SEC game.
I mean, the thing is, you say that, but it's like what?
Joe, they're not winning an SEC game.
Right, but South Carolina at home, wouldn't that be like as good a chance as you'd have?
They just got beat by 41 points by South Carolina.
I understand, but what I'm saying is if you go through the whole SEC, what better game could you have than South Carolina at home?
Arkansas, somebody.
Arkansas.
Mississippi State. I mean, they're not winning an SEC game.
Yeah, well, they may not.
So you're looking at a 2-10 season, and right now, as I'm looking at their 2024 schedule, I think best case scenario might be 3 wins. So if you go 2-10 this year, and they win 3 games next year, I don't know that he's making it to 2025. That's why I think this year is so disappointing, because if they made the progress that I thought they would make this year, and maybe if they didn't even reach a bowl game, which, by the way, that was the talk heading into the season, and they said that their goal was to reach the postseason. Let's say you got 5 wins this year and you won a couple SEC games. You could at least say, all right, well, you've made progress every year to this point. You feel good about where you're at. And next year, look at the schedule. You're playing LSU and Alabama and Texas, Tennessee, all these guys. If you go 2-10 this year and then you follow it up with 3 wins next year, this fan base is going to be irate.
Yeah, irate. I think apathy is almost a bigger concern. But so you may be right. I mean, I think at that point, we'll see. It's like when you get to that point, we can project it now. But when you get to that point, it's probably worse than it even, right? Like actually going through it would be worse than. But you declaring that they won't win, like we just don't. I don't know what they're. I mean, in college football, I don't know what they'll do in the portal. They have limitations other people don't have, but they could do something in the portal. A.J. Swan could turn into a star. It's only his 3rd year of college football, right? Obviously that has to happen. They have to. The big thing is Clark Lee's been recruiting for them at a higher level than they historically have recruited. You were hoping to see more evidence of that this year. There are some good young players out there. But year 4, is it possible that there's a bunch of guys who all of a sudden take big steps and show that on the field? It's possible. I just don't know what they're going to be. I don't know what they're going to be next year. And Arkansas, Mississippi State would be I guess those would probably be your best 2. But South Carolina at home, I understand what just happened to them. I mean, they got crapped on by – right now they're awful. But, South Carolina at home is still one of the better games you could ask for in an SEC schedule to possibly win a game, right? Now, a lot of those other games are terrible, and they probably won't be competitive. I don't know what they're going to be. It doesn't look good. I would totally agree with anybody who says that, and I agree with you that the fan base will feel a certain way if he wins 2 or 3 games next year. I still am not convinced that he won't get the 5th year. In fact, I still would probably bet he would.
615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. We'll get into the Titans and all things NFL with him. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Our voice.
So we don't think Vrabel's scared of a rebuild coming.
He runs that football team.
Your voice.
You don't know there's a solution to a problem because he doesn't think there is a problem.
And what matters to Nashville.
What about the big picture next year?
The coaching staff isn't coaching well enough.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one, where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, Genesis selection is nearly double. Designers are here from LA and New York with their entire collections on sale. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also marked down. All lab-grown diamonds are also included. The last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
You know that feeling you get when your team goes big? You can get that same feeling on Zen Sports. When you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to a $1,000 no-danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet in Zen Sports, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your first bet up to a $1,000 maximum if the bet loses. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 customer support and faster withdrawals like Zen Sports. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to the Tennessee Men's Clinic in Franklin. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough about them. Their providers took care of me, followed up, and made sure I had a treatment plan that actually works. It's awesome. If I were you, and you're like me, I'd give them a call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. If you're like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Nashville's Best Deals is a great place to save cash fast. Get up to half off or more on dining and entertainment at thegamenashville.com/deals. Check back often for new featured deals and save money now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Keyser. The Nashville Predators have a new assistant on staff in Derek McKenzie this season, who joined the team along with new head coach Andrew Brunette this offseason. So, what did Derek have to say on Robby and Rexrode when asked, what does Brunette have to offer this team in teaching them new things?
Andrew's always had this great ability to kind of slow the game down, even though it's so fast. He can see it in slow motion. He can see the pockets. He can see the plays. He can see the lanes. And those are a lot of the things, especially on the power play, that he tries to translate to the guys.
And tonight on Thursday Night Football, the 5-4 Cincinnati Bengals take on the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens in M&T Bank Stadium. Cincinnati will be without wide receiver T. Higgins and defensive end Sam Hubbard. Kickoff on Prime Video is set for 7:15 p.m. And across the pond in Sweden, the Detroit Red Wings will take on the Ottawa Senators to start the NHL's Global Series. Puck drop is set for 2 p.m. and can be seen over on the NHL Network. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
And a score!
You can run different offenses.
The doors on the board. Off the field, on the field.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Final hour, Robbie and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keyser here with you on this Thursday morning, talking all things NFL. And to help us do that, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. Charles, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, gents. How you doing this morning?
Doing very well. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. So, Charles, the Titans will be playing Jacksonville on Sunday, and we'll see if they can approach blocking somebody to protect Will Levis. We were having a discussion earlier about the AFC South with the way that Jacksonville has played at home so far this year, and what a big win for C.J. Stroud in Houston on Sunday at Cincinnati. Can the Texans do this? Do you think the Texans can actually pull this off and win this division this year in C.J. Stroud's rookie season?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Texans, even though Stroud gets the vast majority of the attention, which, I think he deserves, the Texans are more fundamentally sound than I think a lot of people realize. I mean, if you watch them defensively, I'd argue that a massive part of this turnaround has just been what DeMeco Ryans has been able to do with that unit. I mean, they're fast, they fly around. I hate to use the cliches, but if you've watched the Texans defense in recent years, it just looks like a completely reborn unit. And it reminds you of some of the things that Ryans was able to do with the 49ers. And, so to me, though, when you look at that, you ask the question about the division and can they do it? Yeah, well, I think defensively is really going to tell as much of the story as, Stroud is. I mean, Stroud's been fantastic, but, look at the rest of the schedule they have. Okay, Arizona, Jacksonville, Denver, Jets, Titans, Cleveland, the Titans again in Indianapolis. I mean, with what just happened with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, obviously the struggles in Tennessee with, everything, this last game anyway, the Jets still have an issue at quarterback. I mean, it really, other than Jacksonville, right, and they're getting Jacksonville at home, those are all games that the, Texans feel like they're going to be in, that they're going to have. I almost wonder how many of those they'll be favored in moving forward in terms of the odds makers. So, I love Stroud. I love what he's doing. He's handled adversity there in a way. Like their offensive line, it's playing well, but it's not like it's been healthy all season. They've been banged up all season long. I worried about that in the preseason because when he didn't have clean pockets in the preseason games, he looked bad at times, and I was like, man, maybe they can't even start. Maybe Davis Mills has got to start for them. But since the regular season has started, he's been like nearly perfect. He doesn't turn the ball over. He handles pressure really well. He moves around really well. Just almost everything you could have asked from him, they are getting. And it was funny after the Watson. It's not really funny, but after Watson was shut down for the rest of the season, I was texting with somebody, the Texans yesterday, and I was like, it's so crazy to me that the best thing that happened to your organization was Deshaun Watson being like, I want out, like, get me out of here. And the guy was like, I literally remember being in practice and that season he was sitting out and thinking like, maybe he'll just change his mind and it'll save us. Maybe he'll decide I want to be here and it'll totally change us. And he was like, and it probably would have ruined us. And it's the NFL is so crazy sometimes how something you think is the worst thing that could be happening ends up being the best thing, because obviously it's the thing that really remade the Texans getting away from him, finding the right coach. They still have draft picks from that trade that they haven't even used yet. So it's just remarkable how much things change. I was thinking too before I came on about Joe and I like debating on the show during the 2020 season. We're like, how could Tannehill not be a Pro Bowl quarterback? And then you put Watson in there. And yeah, Watson's having this statistical. And I was like, we had no idea. It was like at the beginning of the end of that conversation forever.
That is wild. Well, gosh, you think about Houston. It doesn't feel like that long ago that like Brock Osweiler was the big hope in H-Town, and now it's amazing how things work out. Meanwhile, they don't work out so well in Cleveland. So, first of all, I have no idea. I mean, I'm only a Twitter doctor, but it seems weird to me that this is not related to the last thing. I know they said it isn't, but either way, right. What a blow for them. And where does that leave the Browns?
I mean, we'll see. If you do the math, so when he's out the rest of the season, right? Now he's going to have surgery on his throwing shoulder on an injury that's I don't know. We'll see. Like they're confident that he's going to come back fine and no problem. And it's, hey, it's the kind of injury that you want to tackle. It's a broken bone in there, and it's the kind of injury that you want to tackle earlier than later. And, again, they're confident that everything is going to be fine. But I'm like, if he makes it back for the start of the regular season in 2024, in 3 years and 9 months, or 3 years and 8 months, so about 4 months shy of 4 years, Deshaun Watson will have played in 12 NFL games that counted. 12 in almost 4 years. That's insanity. Like, it's crazy that there's just this presumption. I ended up writing about this, that there's just this presumption that he's going to regain form in Cleveland, that he's going to recapture what he was. And I'm like, I know he's 28, but once injuries start to pile up, we have seen with some quarterbacks, particularly when you start getting into that throwing shoulder, it can change the trajectory of who they are really quickly. And they'll never, Cam Newton, I remember there was a time when I talked to someone in Carolina when he had to have surgery on his throwing shoulder. Like, he'll be okay. He's going to come back from, and he never did. It effectively ended his career. He was never the same player again. And I'll give you a good one too. Like I started to go back and look, like, have we ever seen situations where we saw a quarterback who was supposedly in the wheelhouse of his prime, had achieved these heights, and then it just took a left turn and it never came back? We're all, I think, old enough to have this conversation. There was a quarterback who had one of the best quarterback seasons in NFL history, 5,123 yards from scrimmage, throwing and running, 41 total touchdowns, literally one of the greatest quarterback seasons in history. He's 27 years old.
Dante?
He played 5 more. What's that?
Dante?
Who do you think it is?
Culpepper.
Culpepper.
Yep. Boom! Nice.
Played 5 more seasons after that. Never threw more than 6 touchdown passes because he suffered a knee injury in the year after that mega season.
The plight of Nick Saban.
Right. They chose him over Drew Brees. Nick Saban's still angry about that. It's people completely forget that ever happened, because now that season, that was one of the greatest seasons ever. You remember how exciting he was, and everybody in the NFL was like, oh my God, this guy's like a linebacker playing, quarterback. But he also took a lot of physical punishment. He took a lot of punishment. So does Watson. He did with the Texans. He's got surgically repaired, ACLs in both knees. He took a lot of hits with the Texans. Part of that was because of how the Texans, built the roster around him. But part of it too was how he played. He would play to make plays and put himself into positions where he should have thrown the ball away. Instead, he's taking hits. And I remember at the time that was like, even when things were going well, it was like, well, we got to coach this out of him, because eventually he's going to start to have injuries. Well, this entire season, I'm like, wow, it was like one injury after another with him this year. And he was taking a lot of punishment with a good team, by the way. And so now he's going to come back from all this next year. It's supposedly he's going to be fine. We'll see, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think there's a guarantee now that this works out for Cleveland or Watson, that he gets back to what he once was. And I think it's the injuries, to me, and the lack of meaningful football in 4 years that you start to get worried about how easy it's going to be for him to go back to what he was. And let's remember that time that Joe and I were arguing about Tannehill versus Watson, and that was Watson's peak year. He still wasn't. He was really good. They had a terrible record. He was really good, but I think you would have argued then he still wasn't complete. They were still working on, again, getting him to play healthier football, some aspects of his game where he's taking chances, whatever. But, man, that is a lot for Cleveland to worry about with the contract that they gave him. And now they have 3 years now to try and get this right before. And if we're being real about how quarterback extensions work, 2 years before you go back to the table. How crazy is that? 2 years before normally you'd go back to the table and start having extension talk.
So, Charles, as you can imagine, lots of Titans fans around here looking towards the future at this point with the way the season is going. And we keep getting questions about T. Higgins every day. So, T. Higgins, obviously this year, it's been a little bit rough for him from an injury standpoint. And Burrow was hurt at the first part of the year, and he's not playing tonight. Higgins, that is, not playing tonight against Baltimore. Where do you think things stand right now with Higgins and Cincinnati? And if he does make it to free agency and Cincinnati can't get a deal done, how much interest is there going to be out there for Higgins?
I know it's been not the ideal year for him, but I think he's universally viewed as a number one wide receiver. And I say that because, when the trade deadline came and you're talking to different teams, there were, quite a few wide receiver needy teams. When you end up having conversations with some of the, GMs or whoever you're talking to, often it'll be like, okay, well, could you, make the move now? Are there receivers you could potentially reach into the draft for? And then what does free agency look like? That sometimes drives these trade deadline deals as they look at a window. And multiple brought up like, well, T. Higgins probably going to make it out of there. Like they just couldn't see Cincinnati financially, given the weight of where it's going with Jamar Chase, obviously given the massive deal that Burrow just signed, and they have a number of other concerns. I think they still want to sink more money into the offensive line. That having that number two receiver who's going to want to command number one money is like a luxury that they just can't carry. And most teams aren't going to carry two guys that are going to make, $23, $25, $27 million. That's what, Jamar Chase is going to be a $25 million plus APY player with a ton of guaranteed money. T. Higgins, he goes to free agency. He's going to command in the neighborhood of, I would expect, 23 plus APY, 25, because there will be teams, again, that will look at him as being a number one quality receiver. I think the Titans, if you're going to go after him, you have to assume that that's what he's going to be for the future of your organization. The good thing for the Titans is you're now working with a rookie quarterback salary moving forward, right? It gives you some flexibility that maybe some other teams don't have. If they already have a veteran salary at quarterback, you can pay a heck of a lot more to a free agent wide receiver when at least the quarterback's cheap for a few more years. But yeah, look, I sense when you talk to other teams that are eyeing like their board moving forward at wide receiver and what options they're going to have both in the draft and free agency, I think they believe that the Bengals are not going to end up paying T. Higgins the amount of money that he wants, and that even the tag at this point is prohibitive enough that maybe the one decision they could make is like, okay, do we use the tag in this scenario for him, keep him for a year, and then after that we make a decision, like we just sort of push for it for 1 year and then we have to let him go. But I think teams are preparing for him being out there and having the money ready for him as a number one wideout.
We'll have more with Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesInc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
At Mercedes-Benz of Music City, a healthy and productive culture takes a day-to-day discipline. Here's Sam Cavett, General Manager, with a few thoughts.
Mercedes-Benz has its standard, and we have Dream Motor Group standards. They're definitely on the same level, but I feel like we challenge ourselves at least as much as Mercedes-Benz challenges us. It's a genuine motivation to take care of customers, and we see it in the customer reviews.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Susan has always wanted to live in a chateau. I like a certain je ne sais quoi. While Jake is more into the Cape Cod style home.
It's a classic look.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Susan and Jake found a Cape Cod style home where they will only speak French.
Bonjour, je t'aime, merci beaucoup, and cordon bleu.
You'll get better with time. Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. The one-of-a-kind wood-fired flavor of a Traeger Ironwood XL grill. And football. That's right, Desmond Howard. Get fired up for the game in just a tap with Traeger's intuitive touchscreen. Then throw on your favorites and monitor the grill from anywhere with Wi-Fi technology. So you spend less time staring at the grill, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Dell's Black Friday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Not near a radio? Download the Game Nashville app, and you can listen to Robby and Rexrode wherever you go. Now that is cool.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. We continue our conversation with Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports.
So, Charles, speaking of quarterbacks and issues and whatnot, Buffalo's got a problem, but Ken Dorsey is the one who pays for it. Is that fair or not?
Yeah, I think it's funny. So do you think, let's say that they don't have 12 men on the field, right, and that they win that game, that the missed field goal stands and they walk off the field. Like, Ken Dorsey probably has a job, right?
It's crazy to say, but I think you're probably right. It's the misery of the loss.
Right, and he didn't have anything to do with the 12 men on the field, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, like we can say in the grand scheme there were the the Josh's turnovers and whatever. Obviously, that matters and it weighs on him.
Maybe Ken sent the extra guy out there, just overstepped. Get out there.
It just, I'm like, it feels like one of those situations where Sean McDermott felt like he had to do something. Like, it's like, I have to do something to shake this up. And it was interesting when he talked after that game, and I think it might have been actually when they fired Dorsey. He was mentioning things when he was talking about the quarterback position. He'd said confidence came out of his mouth when he was talking about the quarterback position, which I was like, okay, that's a little concerning, because we thought with the trajectory of Josh Allen that at this point in his career, he would be the guy basically molding the offense, that he would be in his wheelhouse. And, as a veteran at that point, especially with that talent level, you start to sort of dictate, here's how I want, here's what I want to run. I have a mastery of what we're doing now. Here's the personnel that I work best with, that sort of thing. You would hope he starts to get to that stage, but now they're, talking about confidence. And then he mentioned anticipation at the quarterback position, like as in like playing quarterback. And I'm like, really? We're still talking about, is Josh Allen anticipating aspects of what are going on in the football game? And he's not, and that's what's leading to some of these turnovers. There's an insane number of turnovers in 5.5 years. I wish I had the exact number. I know it was like 100+ turnovers in 5.5 years, which is nuts. And it's clearly something that continues to plague him. Everybody, including me, has at times pointed to Brian Daboll, because it seemed like when Daboll was running that offense, he had gotten to a point where he was able to keep some of Josh Allen's sort of risk-taking behavior in check. There was a little less of the hero ball at times. But that said, Allen ran a lot when Daboll was there, and people forget that it felt unsustainable at the time. Like, we were like, man, he can't keep doing this. He's going to get hurt. It's going to, he's going to suffer some kind of injury that could potentially change his career if he keeps doing this. He ran a lot less under Dorsey, and yet we still have these turnover issues. And McDermott just saying like, hey, we need to change like the energy around the unit. I don't know. Statistically, it looked like it was producing maybe not on a touchdown scoring level, but at least a yardage level. Maybe that doesn't really even matter anymore in the NFL. But I mean, it was similar in terms of what they were able to produce under Dorsey and the previous OC. So I mean, like it's just I don't know. They're 5-5. It feels a little desperate, like you're scrambling to just try to change the mojo, in the team right now, and hoping that moving, Joe Brady up sparks something. But it's amazing to me that following that 13-second collapse, and I know people hate that I draw this line back to that game, but it feels like just a different team and a different trajectory since then. It just feels like they never really got up after that 13. They collapsed, they lose in overtime, and suddenly it went from, well, this is going to be the Buffalo Bills era, right? This is it when they knock off the Chiefs and, they're in the Super Bowl window. They anchor the AFC. They become the bullies. And it has not gone that way at all. And despite fine-tuning the roster, by the way, adding pieces to that roster and seeing some growth in Allen, and yet now we're looking at them as a team that's extremely vulnerable. You're asking questions about Stephon Diggs, which now feels like it's become an annual thing there, like it did in Minnesota. So, man, just not a great situation. And I think if this doesn't work out, they've replaced both offensive and defensive coordinators have changed in the last 12 months. So who's next? It's got to be McDermott, right? I don't know how else you look at the situation and go, where else do we change?
So, Charles, on the flip side of things from that game the other night, Russell Wilson completed 83% of his passes, and the Broncos have won 3 games in a row. Has Sean Payton fixed the Denver Broncos in your mind?
They're playing better. There's no question. I mean, also defensively, They look better. They look like a better defensive team after moving on from Randy Gregory, Frank Clark. 2 moves that did not surprise me. I mean, those are not Sean Payton type of guys in the building. And, I think, again, and they moved some younger guys into the starting lineup. And at the time, Sean said, we feel like these are guys that are just going to give us a better chance to win. They're going to play the brand of football that we want, and defensively we think we can clean this up, and they have. And then Russ, slowly but surely, he started to look again like a player that can be workable with Sean Payton. I mean, Cortland Sutton has had – it's funny because I was like, this is sort of over for Cortland. Like, I thought it was going to be a middling wide receiver moving on. I was like he's a big guy, but, just doesn't move. Felt like he didn't move the same way he used to. And he was just sort of flattening out as a player. And he's been great. He's been fantastic. I think that touchdown that he scored along the end zone, the edge line, which was unbelievable, by the way, to get his feet in, that was the 7th in the season. That's the most touchdown catches he's had ever in the NFL in a single season. And which is, it's wild. Like he's sort of in a way been reborn in the red zone as a player, for Peyton. And, Judy at times has had upside. I thought it was interesting in the game when the Bills at the end, you throw a zero blitz at Russ, and I guess the pre-Denver days, if you're playing against Seattle and you throw a zero blitz at Russ, you're like, he throws deep ball, he gets a ball, he can get the ball out, and that's usually going to be a mistake. It did in this game. They end up with a pass interference penalty, but it's sort of the same situation. It was, even though Russ underthrew the ball, he was able to get the ball out in a zero blitz and put them in an opportunity to make a play. And that's how a lot of that is, by the way, coached now with receivers. If we can't get a desperation ball at the end, get the PI, run through the defender trying to get to the ball and see if you can draw the flag. So I wouldn't even say that was luck. I think that's something that you get coached at the position. The quarterback, the wide receiver knows it. You get a zero blitz look, he throws the ball, you get a PI, and next thing you know, you're lining up for a field goal. So definitely positive things happening, after that start in Denver for Sean. And I said the same thing for Kyler Murray that I would say for Russell Wilson. The best thing that these teams can possibly have happen after they've already doled out these deals is making life workable with quarterbacks that you're already paying, and you don't have to go through salary cap hell to get out of it. And, I think if Russ is a viable player, I think he's 90% of what he was in Seattle, I think they're going to be in good shape.
All right, big picture question for you, Charles. It is related to the local professional football team here, because now all everybody's talking about is Levis and, not getting him hurt, not quote unquote ruining him. Some people worried about him being ruined. In your just big picture, how many quarterbacks is that a thing that you think is a frequent thing in this league, that quarterbacks I know we can all talk about the David Carr example. Right? I mean, it was in Houston. But that
was a number of years. That wasn't just 1 year. That was a lot of years.
Yeah. How often do you think that – how big of a concern is that in general for a quarterback who has bad protection? Because to me, I look at it like you got to be able to handle that stuff and get through it, right? But, I suppose it is possible.
I think you have to have a read on mentally, like what kind of a person, like a player mentally the quarterback is. Because I do think – some guys, if they get shelled, like the last thing you want is to see the clip of Sam Darnold in New York Sam seeing ghosts out there, right? Like that just scares you, like as a coach, because you don't want it to turn into something where you have a quarterback who is under pressure so consistently that all of a sudden he's now expecting to get hits. Like that's in his head when he's running around making plays, and it starts to affect where are his eyes going? Is he really still looking downfield? Is he moving when he doesn't? Like that was one of the things with Sam, where when I went through the Jets and it hadn't worked out, I was like, why did it break down? And they would talk about, he's not getting to a second read, and you would see him unnecessarily starting to move around in the pocket when he didn't need to. Like it was fine. The pocket was holding up, and yet he felt like, no, this feels familiar to me. I need to do something here. And they were like, I remember being told by someone in the building, like we could see that was when it started to change who he was going to be as a player, because he lost this trust. And it definitely was because of the hits, how often it happened and how consistently it happened. And so you're going to have some quarterbacks that get antsy and mentally can't take that. You're going to get others who, I hate to use the whole toughness thing, but you're going to get others that will go, no, okay, I'm going to hold on to the ball. I'm going to make a play. I'm going to take the hit, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep going. You know who one of those guys is? Kirk Cousins. We never really got a lot of credit for that until the quarterback, the Netflix series, that quarterback series where people are like, man, dude takes a lot of hits. He gets hammered a lot, and mentally it doesn't affect him as much as we all think it does. Like he actually does play really well, and there's a reason why Kirk Cousins was playing some of his best football this year when he went down. You want players that are able to take punishment and not really stylistically have it change how they play the game, every point moving on. You want to still be able to build on that. But so with Levis, I think the question is, can he what do you know about his mental makeup? Can he handle this? Can he handle the punishment that he's going to get? Clearly that line is going to be an issue all season long. How can you then resolve that after this season, right? Because you don't want to replicate 1 year into the next, and it becomes a trend in his mind that he's always going to be getting hit. But I actually thought already we've seen. I mean, he's taken a lot of hits, and I'm like, man, he keeps getting up. He's like, and there were times where, because the line, sometimes when you have offensive lines that aren't able to protect, quarterbacks will do things to allow deeper routes to develop. They'll back up. It's like especially you see it with strong arm quarterbacks, and sometimes it's designed, sometimes it's not, but you will see them backpedal a little bit to let a deeper route develop, knowing they have the arm strength to then wing it, get the ball out there, but they're going to take a hit in the process, and they know it. I kind of like it when I see guys do that, and I felt like I've seen Levis do that a couple of times where he was like, nope, going to take the hit, going to try to get this ball off, because that's how we're going to make plays down the field, even though we don't have great protection. If he can do that and not break eventually or get hurt, as you said, that's another thing. It's not just mental, it's physical. Then I think it can ultimately be a good thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair question to ask. Like, at what point do you have to start to change things to protect him? I don't think sitting him down, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, you should have a coordinator who can go, okay, let's figure out max protect. Let's figure out what can we do. Maybe the offense isn't going to be it's not going to be a highlight reel offense. It's going to be pretty rough, but, first and foremost, let's protect Will and let him develop the parts of the game that he can with a bad offensive line. But I totally get the conversation. Absolutely. I was going to ask you guys, I'm like, how would you go about now with that offensive line rebuilding it going into the offseason? Because I feel like you got to sort out the tackle spots.
Yeah. You have to do a lot.
You change positions for some guys. Like where would you guys know the team? You there? I mean, you know, where do you begin? Like who are you keeping? Are you moving them around on the line? And then is just a foregone conclusion that you're going to devote a lot of draft picks and money to the offensive line? I would ask that before T. Higgins. I know T. Higgins is sexy. People, I get it. I totally understand that. I would fix the offensive line before I fixed anything else or started getting luxury items off the shelf.
Yeah, your left tackle.
It's a great point. Left tackle in the draft, I think, is going to be essential. Charles, great stuff.
And there's some good ones.
There are some really good ones.
Good ones. That's the upside. There's a couple really good left tackles. So.
Absolutely. Charles, great stuff, man. We're not going to have a show next Thursday because of Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
I appreciate it, guys. Hey, Joe, take care of that hand, all right, buddy?
If you're looking at the stream, look at that. It's pretty gross.
He's tough.
Yeah.
Just pure toughness.
I'm not seeing ghosts.
From Rexrode.
Thanks, Charles.
Charles Robinson, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. We'll react to what Charles had to say coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Hey, it's Big Joe. Chip Walters and I will have the call this Saturday as MTSU wraps up their home schedule against UTEP. Our coverage begins at 12:30.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits.
It's back. Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Okay, so what's that mean?
That means huge discounts, up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Like what?
Up to 50% off on slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy Billiards. Prices start as low as $14.99 installed, plus the matching bars and game tables. Even poker tables to complete our game room are on sale as well. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Wow, perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure is also featuring huge savings on massage chairs and home theater seating. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. And the top of the line 40 massage chair is more than half off at $29.99.
What about the theater seating?
Family Leisure guarantees to be half off anyone's home theater seating. 3-piece recliner sets start at only $9.99. Full power recline real leather seats are only $19.99.
That's great. And they have stand-up and desktop arcade games with over 600 games, shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables.
It really is the ultimate game room sale.
The ultimate game room sale going on now at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
A lot of schools talk about training the cybersecurity workforce of the future, but do they really deliver? My Computer Career has been supplying the IT workforce with thousands of skilled, certified pros for 15 years. Train with the experts in support, networking, or cybersecurity and start your career in months, not years. Upskill even faster. On campus or live online, qualified students may get financial aid, including the GI Bill. My Computer Career. Accredited, acclaimed, effective. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu.
Don't miss Provember at Lowe's. Save $80 on a DeWalt Combo Kit and save $20 on a 5-gallon pail of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams All-Purpose Power Primer. Plus, MVP's members earn 3 times the bonus points on DeWalt and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams products. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the guy in post-game traffic watching the post-game highlights while trying to make a left turn out of the very busy post-game parking lot. Why would you pay a rate based on anyone else? Get a rate based on you with DriveWise and the Allstate app.
Not available in California, subject to terms and conditions. Some states participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, a rate could increase with high-risk driving. Safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
If it's important to Nashville,
I'll put it out right now.
It's important to Jared Stillman.
Like, that's it.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Something is going on, and the question is, what does it mean?
Or give the strong opinion.
And just needed the bozo offensive coordinator to stop ruining the quarterback.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, Trey Wingo here. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Thanks to Charles Robinson for being with us in the last segment. Got some tickets to give away to see the Nashville Predators take on the Chicago Blackhawks coming up this Saturday, 1 o'clock at Bridgestone Arena. A trivia question that you must answer on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It's always fun when the Predators and the Blackhawks get together, none more so than for Predators fans in 2017 when the Predators swept the Chicago Blackhawks. A very important goal scored in that series in Game 3 for the Predators in overtime. Who was the goal scorer in overtime for the Predators in Game 3 of the 2017 first round against the Chicago Blackhawks? The first person to correctly guess the answer on the text line will win a pair of tickets to see the Preds take on the Chicago Blackhawks this Saturday. This should be relatively easy.
I think I have got it, but now I'm questioning myself a little bit.
Uh-oh.
But I think
I'll let you know here in a minute.
Yeah, we'll see.
What did you
test?
It was interesting to get Charles's point of view on the T. Higgins offensive line thing. You know, the offensive line, the left tackle part of it, to me, it's definitely going to have to come in the draft if you're the Titans. So I think, as we sit here today, that's probably a given that you're going that way. It was interesting to hear him say, why don't you fix the offensive line if you're the Titans before you're worried about like a T. Higgins or a receiver or anything like that.
I need to remind Charles about the NFL calendar.
There's
free
that.
Agency comes before the draft, Charles.
It does.
Although maybe Charles has a free agent option that he loves for the Titans. We've talked about that quite a bit this week.
Sounds like he's expecting Higgins to be out there, though, based on the teams that he's talked to that are monitoring that situation with Cincinnati.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I still just feel like that would be a mistake of the Bengals. But maybe they feel like, Boyd, keeping him, it's cheaper, way cheaper, and they can still be fine with everything else they have. I don't know. And again, it may be that he's resolved to be out there. And like, I'm going to get a payday, and I'm going to be a number one receiver for a team, and I know I'm not going to be a number one receiver as long as I'm in Cincinnati and as long as Jamar Chase is here. That may be the case. If he's out there, then absolutely the Titans should be rolling out the red carpet.
Yep. Come on home, T.
Exactly.
It's technically a homecoming.
It is.
He's from Oak Ridge.
And the thing is, you do that, and I think it's, look, I think they can pay him, but some of this is also how he looks at things. Look, some of this, if Will Levis performs really well, he's able to set up in the pocket. He's able to throw passes. He throws a lot of good ones, and he looks good. And you're T. Higgins, and you're seeing a young quarterback on the rise. I mean, that could help your recruitment of him. But if you can get him, then that certainly simplifies the draft, right?
It does. Hopkins, Higgins,
Brock Bowers,
Burks.
Yeah.
And Burks would be a nice number 3 for you.
Burks is, you still, what you want in that situation is that Burks is able to step in for Hopkins when Hopkins is gone after next year.
Correct.
But
we're a long way off from that right now.
But like Carsey said, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
On all fronts.
Yeah.
The Burks front, the Higgins front, all of it.
But you know what? When people brought up Julio initially,
I know.
You can find audio of me from this show poo-pooing it. And when they brought up Hopkins last year, I was like, yeah, older. Are you going to do another one like that? And
worked out okay.
They both happened.
Yeah.
So maybe this will happen too. This would definitely not fall in the category of the aging, formerly great receiver. This would be a guy in his prime.
Do you feel like Sean Payton has fixed the Denver Broncos? They've won 3 in a row. I was looking at Russell Wilson's numbers. I mean, he's not thrown picks in the last 3 games, so that's good. I mean, he's throwing for basically like 180 a game, so it's not like he's out there, just lighting teams up left and right. But he did complete 83% of his passes against Buffalo. And they have won 3 in a row. I mean, they beat Green Bay. Watched all of that game. That was quite the game to watch.
Yeah.
Beat Kansas City 24-9, which obviously that's a big win. And then taking down Buffalo on the road. So 2 of those wins, pretty darn impressive for the Broncos. What do you make of what we've seen from Russell Wilson and Sean Payton the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, Russell's sitting there, almost 2,000 yards now, 18-4, TD to pick. Solid defense. Remember, a year ago, it was like, oh, my goodness, you better pencil the Broncos in, at least in the playoffs, right? I mean, I think you got to give Sean Payton some credit. It is fun to dunk on Sean Payton. It is. I like doing it. And he says stuff sometimes that you're just like, what are you talking about? But
he does.
Looks like he's figuring some things out. And I'm here for it. I'm here for the fun. I'm here for Sunday Night Football. Like 2-3 weeks ago, think about how bad that game looked. Vikings and Broncos as of like week 4. They were 2 of the worst teams in the league in the first month of the season. So I'm here for them being interesting and fun, and narrative's changing. Russ was done. Sean Payton was only riding the coattails of Drew Brees. Look at him on the way to the Lombardi.
On the way back. Keezer, have you broken into the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com? Do we have a winner for our trivia question, or do we need to revisit next segment?
No, we are good to go. I have a winner. I don't have a first and last name yet, but we do have a winner. So we are all good in that department.
Okay, so the winner, we'll find out the name here in just a few minutes, but the goal scorer for the Predators in Game 3 was?
Fiala, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Kevin Fiala. Game 3.
And our winner just texted me their name. It is Chris. So, Chris, thank you for texting in. Appreciate it.
Chris will be going to enjoy the Predators and the Blackhawks on Saturday at 1 p.m. at Bridgestone Arena. I remember it well.
You're not a Blackhawks fan, are you?
Yeah, Chris. What do you think? I remember that game well. Kevin Fiala cutting across the middle there, backhand. Place went nuts, and that's when you knew it was over. When they got 3-0, it's like, yeah, it's over.
And that was the game where Pecorine
had to dive back.
When the weird bounce, right? Yeah. And I think Forsberg had a huge tying goal in the third period.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah, that was when it was over. Because I still was open to, Blackhawks could come in here. I mean, shoot, the year before, didn't the Preds go out, win the first 2 in Anaheim, and then come home and lose the next 2 at home? I believe that happened. Yep. So, that was still up in the air. That was a big-time win.
615-737-1025, our phone number. More of our thoughts coming up next on the Titans and Jacksonville. Take your thoughts as well, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3, The Game.
Whether it's college football,
players might end up not going to Alabama or Georgia,
or the NFL.
I think that this team wins the AFC South.
Trevor knows. Join ESPN's Trevor Maddich every Tuesday at 4:30 on Stillman and Company as he gives his opinions on the latest from the gridiron.
I'm going to the team where I can get a ring.
Trevor Maddich brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, where experience matters, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When the festive bells ring and everyone gathers round, make sure your home's ready for it. From flickering lights to chilly nights to busted pipes, Lee Company is here to help. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, or any fix-up you need, we've got the experts ready. Head over to LeeCompany.com. That's LeeCompany.com. Remember, Lee Company, all you need, so you can enjoy the holidays worry-free.
Whatever your destination in life, you can get there easier with a checking account from F&M Bank. At F&M, our checking accounts give you the tools you need to manage your money well, like our smart free checking account that's actually free. Because sometimes the basics are more than enough, making lives better by making banking easier. Come see us at one of our branches or online at myfmbank.com. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC.
Get ready for a magical holiday experience at Belle Meade Historic Site and Winery. Join us for our free holiday open house Thursday, November 16th from 5 till 8 p.m. Meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, tour our enchanting mansion, and delight in holiday crafts and activities for the whole family. Treat yourself with our renowned wines and bourbon from Belle Meade Winery and savor foods from the Belle Meade Meat and 3. Let's create cherished memories that will last a lifetime at Belle Meade Historic Site and Winery. Only 7 miles from downtown Nashville. Reserve online at visitbelmeade.com.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
This year, Staples will not be celebrating the holidays. Instead, we're celebrating the holiday deals with amazing savings for the holiday season. Save 50% on custom holiday cards, save 50% on custom invitations, and save 50% on custom photo gifts like mugs and calendars. During Staples holiday deals, it's not about the ho ho ho, it's about saving dough. Save 50% on custom cards, invitations, and photo gifts today at Staples. Ends 12/16. Visit staples.com/print for more details.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We want to hear from you. Call or text us at 615-737-1025.
Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
This is Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tune in to 102.5, 106.3 The Game this Saturday at 6:30 for our college football game of the week. Florida taking on Missouri, presented by Twin Peaks. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks for scenic views of all the hottest college football games across the country and home of the 29-degree beer. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Nick Keys are here with you on this Thursday morning. Titans and Jags coming up on Sunday, Joe. We're going to get deeper into this matchup tomorrow. We'll have Jared Stillman on with us at 7 o'clock. We'll have Teron Davenport on with us at 8 o'clock. Look ahead to the Titans and the Jags. This is an interesting opportunity because it has been a team in Jacksonville that has struggled pretty mightily at home so far this year. They're 2-3, and in some of these games they've just been totally blown out. They got killed by the Texans at home. They got destroyed by San Francisco last week at home. So it's not going well for Jacksonville in Duval so far this year. And then you've got the Titans who, as of tomorrow, have not won a road game in a calendar year and are borderline allergic to scoring touchdowns on the road. So something on Sunday is going to have to give. I think most Titans fans will probably say, yeah, it'll probably be Jacksonville that gives and will win at home. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game from the standpoint of, can the Titans cobble together some semblance of an offensive line that holds up well enough to get something done in the passing game on Sunday. Will Levis, after the Atlanta game where he throws 4 touchdowns, has not thrown one since then. And I don't know if that's his fault, but he's not thrown one since then.
Yeah. And I think, with the Titans at 3-6, lots of more talk about, as we talked about yesterday, effort, energy, all that stuff, just team morale. As a season like this advances, of course it gets harder. It gets harder to do the extra stuff, right? It gets harder because when you're winning, you got things rolling. It's just easier to get, let's do a little bit more film or whatever. You you really spill it on whatever play, whatever the situation may be on the field. No one's quitting, but the extra juice, it really matters in this sport. Emotion matters in football. Always has, always will. I get the good thing for the Titans at 3-6. I mean, there's some other games coming up where it could be just like, whew, well, got to play today. Yep. But you would think that division rival team that broke your heart last year, sick of hearing Duval, hate the Milky Pool, whatever it may be.
The pool will be flowing on Sunday.
The pool will just be, I think it's going to be kind of a hotter day down there too. But this should be a game that the Titans bring their best. Whatever their best is, this should be that. You know, like I wonder about later in the season, like when they're playing like the Panthers or the Seahawks or something like that. But this should be their best. And look, you win this game and get to 4-6, and you drop them down to 6-4.
2 games out of first.
Well, you can start thinking about that. And you know you have the Texans twice. You know you have another one against the Colts at home. So this is still a game where if you manage to get this, and I know there's fans right there that are, right now that are going to be like, I don't care, I'm out. What's the draft position? Okay. You're welcome. I certainly don't expect any Titans fan right now to be like hopeful about the playoffs or anything like that. But you win this one game, and it does change things a bit, and you can look ahead and see a path to at least hanging around in this thing well into December.
As our friend Corey Curtis points out, Levis did have a touchdown pass in the hands of Chig Okonkwo on Sunday that he subsequently dropped in the end zone. There was that.
Yeah.
So got to catch the ball.
Yeah, he's had some drops, and he's been hit 25 times in 3 games.
Not good.
So he's not getting great support, just as his predecessor didn't get great support.
Josh on the text line says, do you think the mentality to keep the interior line the way it is so that when the pocket collapses on the outside, the quarterback can step up and make a throw? But if you protect his blind side with what we assume is the best option in Skoronski, when the interior breaks down, the quarterback has to use his legs and get a first down. Either way, he's taking unnecessary hits, I guess. That's from Josh in Columbia. Going back to the unwillingness to move Skoronski to left tackle.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll say this with Skoronski. I think Skoronski's superpower, so to speak, is his core strength. I mean, he's incredibly strong. Which is more of an he's kind of stocky and really solid.
Yeah.
He looks like a guard.
He does.
There are plenty of excellent college left tackles who should not play that in the NFL. I'm not saying that's him, because there are some evaluators who thought, he doesn't quite fit the bill physically, hit all the measurables, but he was really good feet, all that stuff. I mean, he's a really good athlete. I don't know if that's what it is, or if it's just as simple as they think he's just flat out better for them at guard than tackle. I understand all the questions we've talked about this week, because when you're as bad as they've been at left tackle, why wouldn't you think about that? Clearly they are not, for whatever reason.
Who wins tonight, Cincinnati or Baltimore? Baltimore at home, favored by, I believe, 3.5. No T. Higgins for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think the Ravens bounce back. The Ravens really blew it against the Browns. The Ravens have a tendency, though, to make some terrible mistakes to let teams back in the game. They did against the Titans.
They did.
But I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I'm going Cincinnati.
Yeah.
This is one I think they got to have.
They need it.
I think they get it tonight on the road. I think Burrow and Chase play great tonight. I mean, it's going to be close, but I'll go Cincinnati on the road against Baltimore. I'm just thankful for a Thursday night football game that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Thanksgiving 1 week early.
Thanksgiving 1 week early.
Football game.
No question about that. So interested to see that tonight between Cincinnati and Baltimore. And then actually a really good weekend of football in the NFL coming up too, with some good primetime games. Eagles, Chiefs, Monday night. It's going to be good.
I mean, Lions, Bears. Get excited.
No question about that. That does it for us today. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Chase and Big Joe coming up next. You're listening to 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Our voice.
I think Levis is a better quarterback.
He got dog in him.
But I'm not concerned.
Your voice.
Now that teams know, okay, we're going to have to respect this guy's deep ball.
And what matters to